I never left.
Welcome, everyone. Hello. Hello, everyone. Hi. This is Geek Space TV presents Night Witches, Toil and Trouble, Episode 7, Talents. Welcome. It's so nice to see you all. Welcome in, hang out with us. Geek Space TV is a non-profit studio, broadcasting studio based out of Seattle that has as its mission increasing diversity and representation in geek and gaming spaces. And this is our little corner of the internet, and it is wonderful to have you here. The channel's doing lots of exciting things at the moment. We have got Inklings on Monday, which is at 4 p.m. Pacific. Yes. And that is an art show where our own Sour Fruit Junkie draws, and we all get practice in it. It's really fun. It's really good. She's
good.
She's so good. And I've been getting drawings in as well.
You've done fan art of this show too.
I have. I'm trying to do fan art of all of our NPCs and try to figure out like what will be our next. I don't know.
I'm just like drawing stick figures over here, like close enough.
Close enough. On Wednesday, we have Wind Down with our CEO, Anna Geeks, who you may recognize from being right over there. Oh, you know what? Everyone's
Hit me.
Everyone's also has fabulous hair. I wish I was a pretty girl character because they have such cool hairstyles.
They did have really cool hair. I mean, after this, we're planning on doing a French Resistance show, and
that's true.
Just saying.
Think about it. And she's going to give us a really amazing announcement on the Wind Down, which is at 5 p.m., which she might tease for us. I'm just saying. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific time is Worlds Beyond, a dimension hopping game run by our own Random Tuesday. So that's what's coming up in the short term. And I would like everyone to introduce themselves because this is the best cast and we have a special guest. But let's start at the top with Anna Geeks, who might spoil something really exciting maybe for us.
I'm not going to tease. I'm going to tell people what it is. Hi, everyone. I'm Anna Geeks. I'm the CEO here at Geek Space TV, and I'm also a full-time variety broadcaster on my own channel, and I do a lot of baking. This is also my last episode here on Night Witches, unfortunately, but if you enjoyed my time here, and frankly, even if you didn't, you should still watch the show that we are going to be launching very soon, and I will talk about more on Wind Down, called The Expanse. Flip and burn. So, that's going to be a thing, and I will talk to you all about it on Wednesday during Wind Down.
If you want some wait, can you say who the GM is going to be?
Scotland, level 2-3.
Who you might know from Manner of Speaking.
People are saying that we're all in the wrong spots.
Yeah, we are. We're going to fix it once we go to credits. We'll fix it in credits. We'll fix it in post.
Keep everyone on their toes.
That's right. Next up, I would like our marvelous Maggie Crone to introduce herself, please.
Well, I'm Anna Geeks today. No, I'm just kidding.
Phew, that lets me off the hook.
Yeah. I'm Margaret Crone, and you can find me at Margaret Crone. It's pretty easy. All the things. I do some other tabletop stuff, and I enjoy video games, and I also work for a game development company where I make video games.
What are you working on right now?
We are working on Ashes of Creation. If you want to check it out, it's an MMORPG, and we're working very hard to make the next big MMORPG.
So exciting. How about Rocket Fox? Why don't you tell us who you are, where we can find you, and what you do?
Yes, I am Rocket Fox. Hello, everyone. I am an illustrator, storyteller, speaker, gamer, cosplayer, lady of many hats. Tonight, the Soviet Union hat. And you can find me anywhere you find Rocket Fox. And that's ROCKETTE, like the Rockettes. On Twitter, Facebook, my Twitch channels, mirroring this one right now. And then I also am the president of the board for a nonprofit called Superheroines, Etc. And our mission is to empower women and those who identify as women to embrace their inner nerd. And you can check that out at superheroinesetc.org.
Woo! And our new guest, and before our guest introduces herself, she's only here for this one episode now, but she'll be back in March. So this will not be the only time you can see our wonderful, wonderful guest. Please, PB, introduce yourself, who you are, where we can find you, what you do.
Hi, everybody. I'm PB, also known as Pumpkinberry. You can find me at Twitch and Twitter at Pumpkinberry. And I do a lot of tabletop stuff. So you can find out more about that on my Twitter. And I do variety casting. Anything with a good story usually is what I'll play during the week on my Twitch channel. So super happy to be here. I'm very excited.
Also, even in black and white, you can see that her makeup's on point.
Oh, thank you.
It's true. It's true.
Mm-hmm. Mine
Also,
too.
when I think
lipstick shade is Russian red. I just had to say that because I was like, oh, perfect. Sorry.
When I think of PB, I think of peanut butter. So
I get that a lot.
I have an addiction. Don't judge me.
Hey, peanut butter is delicious. Like
Peanut butter is delicious.
Like peanut butter sauce on noodles. It doesn't matter. I just
Peanut butter with chocolate.
Oh, yeah.
Are you one of those peanut butter Nutella fans?
I will. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm down.
I have to.
And then
know.
also add honey, and I'm in.
Yes, peanut butter
And
and honey
maybe
is
even
so good.
bananas. Throw in a banana.
Yeah.
In a crepe. Just
Yeah. I like how
Now
this is
I'm
slowly becoming
hungry.
from a snack to a meal.
I'm allergic to peanut butter.
Oh.
Oh no.
Well, that just means there's more for me, so it's okay.
This is
Here,
fair.
let me give you a wet blanket.
And I am Trooper SJP, and I'm your game moderator for Night Witches, and I am also a variety affiliate Twitch streamer who plays story-heavy games. That's what I like to do, and I am GMing for you today. And that is us. We are going to go to credits, and when we come back, we will start episode 7, Talents. And we're back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is episode 7 of Night Witches, Toil and Trouble, Talents. I would like, before we start off, I would like each one of our cast, who should now be in the proper frame, I hope, to introduce their character and what they look like and maybe something interesting about them. But PB, don't tell us anything interesting. Just give us your name and what you look like, because that's a surprise.
I know.
It's a surprise. Why don't we start with PB, because you're the most mysterious.
Okay. Wait, no, don't start with me. Because I don't know how to follow the format very
You
well.
got it. You do.
All right.
You do it.
Trust. We have faith.
Okay.
Tell us your name, your character's name, and what you look like.
I'm playing Anna Sova, and her last name, hold on, is Adriava. And she's a little bit older. She's like 34 compared to everybody else. When I say older, everybody calm down. She's like 34, blonde hair, Her uniform is definitely neat. Like, she's just very prim and proper, and yeah, she's got blue eyes and seems a little bit nervous a lot. So that's about it. That's all I will give.
Suspicious.
Yeah.
Thank you for
That's
the
one way
raid.
to put it.
Thank you for the raid. We are Nerdsmith. Thank you. Welcome into the Geek Space. We're just starting Night Witches, and so welcome in. Pull up a seat, have a glass of water or vodka, whatever. They look the same, and enjoy the show.
Been up forever, like
That's
me.
what I should have done. I should have gotten some
Vodka. Let's go with Rocket Fox. Tell us who your character is and what they look like, and something about your character.
Awesome. So I'm playing Titania Petrova. She's very buttoned up, very sharp in appearance, kind of short cropped black bob, the military look suits her. And I guess something interesting would be is that she is from Leningrad, which is currently under siege, and she originally went to university to be an artist.
And she is not currently doing that right now, although
she's trying to keep everyone out of trouble as much as possible.
I
don't know. You've been partaking in the trouble.
What? No.
I feel
These are words.
I feel like there's some trouble happening.
I'm sure
it's almost like that's in the title of the show.
Yeah. Speaking of troublemakers,
that's why we keep rolling fails.
This is why.
Oh man, that's yeah.
Speaking of troublemakers, Maggie, why don't you introduce yourself, your character, and not you personally, just your character, and you know what she looks like, something about her.
So I play Irina Alberg, who is the Swede of the group, which is kind of very rare. She's the youngest of 7 children, so she's seen some shit. She's loud and boisterous and very blunt. She has like short frizzy hair that's curly and brown and just a mess, basically my hair. But she's very tall, which is unlike me, and very bulky, and almost like you could mistake her for a man if you weren't looking very closely or talked to her much. Her uniform is very unkempt, and she just looks like she doesn't care about what she looks like in her appearance. And when she's like trying to be super serious, you can see like a little spark in her blue eyes that's like she's got something going on in her brain. It's probably not anything good.
We may know Irina from such hits as "Let's Go Graffiti the Planes" of the male regiment. Yeah.
I saw that in the last episode. That was that weird, awkward moment of, you wouldn't happen to know who graffitied the planes, would you? And I was like, I bet it was her. I don't know, but glad that got confirmed for me.
Yeah. It was a bonding experience.
You have to watch that episode, though. It was good.
Yeah.
I am. I was working my way through, but then when I realized I wouldn't be able to see the latest episode in time, I skipped ahead to watch that one.
Oh, you've got some wonderful spoilers waiting for you. You'll love it. And Anna, why don't you tell us about your character, what she looks like? Tell us something about her.
Veronica Cardina is about average height. She's blonde and has that classic sort of movie star look to her until you see the side of her face that has become badly scarred from we don't know what yet. I mean, I know, but I haven't told anyone. And she may or may not be rumored to have lost her mind a little bit and or be a witch.
These are all possibilities.
We did talk about your scar last episode, and Anastasia wants me to find out why you have it.
This is true.
God, that girl.
Because she was told she's not allowed to ask questions because people say that she doesn't have tact. So she figured you could ask.
Because that's going to make it any better.
I was going to say that. I don't know that that's the first place I'd go for tact, but...
Yeah, I was like, because Irina has tact, right?
She has tact.
It's true. Krellin
more than Anastasia, though, so
brings up a point that I wanted to remember to mention, that every time they go out on a bombing run before the run, she takes a little bit of engine grease and puts it on her lips like lipstick, and leaves a kiss mark on each of the bombs.
Ooh.
She does. So, One of the things about Night Witches, which is powered by the Apocalypse, and it's by Jason Morningstar of Bully Pulpit Games, is that you often start each session by asking the characters a question to help sort of just get to know them and develop their characters. And so I have questions for each of you. And I would like to start with Irina. Irina, what would you be doing if they didn't let you fly?
Probably still sitting in front of that dude's office.
Mm-hmm. That is a reference that will probably come out in today's episode. Just a little, there's a thing. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. Because that dude is the general who's coming to inspect your base in a few hours.
Oh, all right. That makes more sense then.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So, Veronica, when has your sexuality either gotten you into or out of trouble?
I don't think that it really has. I mean, perhaps once when she was like a teenager, she got a little busted, but like I could I can improvise this if you want me to.
Please do. You go.
I would say that she had a fling when she was a teenager that her parents found out about, and that is what pushed her into getting that's what caused them to push her into the marriage to her now deceased husband.
May I ask a follow-up question?
Sure.
What is the age difference, or what was the age difference between you and your husband?
He was older. Not scandalously so, but he was probably, I would say, about 10 years older. You know more about the dates, the timelines than I do, but he was older.
Thank you. Titania.
Yes.
Your mother is this sort of really interesting, radical, sort of realist painter, and your father's a chemist, and you grew up in Leningrad.
Radical is a strong word, sir.
So sorry, I would not presume to say radical. A painter that has gotten that. Well, secret police are interested in your mother. That's fine. So you have this mother, and then you have this father as a chemist, and you grew up in Leningrad, going to cabarets, seeing artists, being in this sort of really interesting art world. And right now, you are in the Air Force, and you've been really successful. And it looks like you're going to get a promotion to go from junior lieutenant to lieutenant. I'm wondering, how do you feel about your success?
Titania looks at a lot of it in a pretty utilitarianism way. She picked up the skills from her mother, but she still has a little bit more of that science side in her approach and how she maneuvers through life. And she's very well aware of the fact that she can't really be extremely open about things that she would want to necessarily do and partake of. Just knowing what's going on with Leningrad and seeing how interested people became in her mother.
Yeah.
So it's almost more of a survival thing, and also a little bit of a perfectionist. If she's going to do it, she's going to try and do it the best that she can.
That's good. And Anasova, we live on a base, and you have been in the 588th Women's Night Bombing Regiment for, we're in 1943 now, so about a year. And there are not so many of you. You're in a different squadron as the rest of this crew here. But it's a small space, and people hear rumors about other people. So I would ask, if somebody mentioned your name, what 3 rumors would they have heard about your character? 2 of which would be true, 1 of which would not be true.
Okay. The first one that you would probably hear are that me and my co-pilot are traitors. The second one would be that I gave the enemy information. The third would be I am only enlisted because of family influence.
I just want to say that one more time out loud because that's interesting. So that you and your co-pilot are traitors.
Mhm.
And that you gave them the Nazis information.
Mhm.
And that you're only here because you have connections.
Mhm.
So I want you all to take that information and hold it, because we're going to raise our scene in a moment where this is going to sort of come out a bit. But before we do, I want to give our quote for the episode, which is, I like to start each episode with a quote from an actual Night Witch, someone who actually did this. And the quote we have, which I thought was really, I try to make them relevant to the episode as in some kind of a way. And this one is from Major Irina Rakobolskaya, who was a navigator, and she was also chief of the commanding staff, and that she was the deputy commander of the 588th at one point in time. And this is what she says. She says, "Our whole regiment took to embroidering. We had no threads, no real cloth, but we had underwear, usually of a blue material, and we had cloth, not socks, that you put your foot into and then pulled on the boots. You see, the boots were very large for us, and these cloths made them fit more comfortably. So we embroidered flowers on those cloths with thread made out of the blue from our underwear. We had parties and danced and sang, and we had amateur contests and wrote poetry. The first slogan of the regiment was, 'You are a woman, and you should be proud of that.' When weather caused the cancellation of the mission, everyone stayed at the airfield and danced. It would never come into any man's mind to do that, all while waiting permission to fly." And that was our quote for today. So, the last session where we ended, we had some sort of dramatic moments at the end of the last session. Specifically, there was a mission they went on, and they went on, it was like really expertly done. They were going to come in through a secret passage. They were going to go through over the sea rather than through land, but the enemy was waiting for them as if the enemy had been tipped off to their arrival and their approach. There was a lot of enemy fire. They made it through, but it was touch and go. They did hear that 2 other planes had crashed, though. When they arrived, they sort of just discussed this mission. And there was, in the debrief, there was an amazing medal ceremony where Nick Volkova was awarded a medal, and everyone sort of drank champagne and celebrated this moment. But Polya Makarova, who is sort of like a rough and tumbled sort of figure, pulled Irina aside outside of the barracks while everyone was still partying and collapsed. She had taken shrapnel in her gut, but didn't want to miss the ceremony and the debrief. And Irina grabbed her and ran towards the medical tent, which was actually quite far away. It's much closer to the 218th barracks than theirs. And by the time they got there, it was too late to save her. And Polya died sort of squeezing onto Irina's hand. And Irina was not going to let this one go. She wouldn't accept it, but there was not anything that she could do. And Irina took the St. Barbara's medal that Polya had, and she took that with her. And the other bits of final moments in this sort of as dawn is arriving is that news that Svetlana Sheremetova found out that Alexei Popov, the young man who was a childhood friend of Lena, who had been taken away because she was admitted to being a lavender woman, sort of being a queer woman, and was taken to a hospital to be cured. He found out about it, and the first thing he did was take a train to the hospital where she was at and propose marriage. And she said yes, which will get her out of that hospital. And Svetlana Sheremetova, the deputy politruk, was trying to find someone to tell, sees Nick, says, "Hey, tell Titania that this is what has happened. I've got to go and deal with paperwork and try to work on advocating to get her brought back." And Nick took this information to Mel, the mechanic, who was sort of Lena's girlfriend, and told her that Lena got married, and also told her that she cared about her, and there was like, so their long simmering platonic relationship got less platonic as they kissed. And that is where we ended the last episode. And as we begin this episode, it is where people are after a debrief. It is, 5 or 6 in the morning, and our airwomen are in the canteen. They're in their mess tent, eating supper, which is the meal. Like after your mission, they have supper, and then they have some time to sort of do their chores and all the things they need to do, and then they usually take a nap. And then they get up and they do their mission again. And so it's this moment where they're all in the canteen together, having breakfast. They also know that today, the head of the 4th Air Army, General, I'm always going to pronounce his name wrong because it's actually a complicated name. Hold on. General Miroshnichenko, that General Miroshnichenko is going to be here today. And in preparation of him being here, it's been sort of madness. Everyone's been doing inspections all the time. There's a sort of general level of stress and tension because the general's coming and everything needs to look perfect and be excellent. Having a traitor in the midst is not going to be helpful. And in honor of the general being here, there's going to be a dance to raise morale of all of the airwomen and the airmen. It's going to be a dance between the 218th, the male regiment, and the 588th, the female regiment, together. And the women are going to have to put on a talent show. Yeah, which probably means not a lot of sleep. Nick promised to make a banner where Sergeant Smirnov of the 218th wants to propose marriage to Sergeant Yu of the 588th. And
oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, and promised to make a banner. And Nick has told Anastasia about it so that Anastasia can make the banner, since Nick is not going to be here for reasons you will learn shortly. And also, we said off screen, just so you know, that Nick would have told Titania about the marriage so that she knows at this moment, probably around in this moment in the mess hall. So you're all in the mess hall, except for PB's character who's not there yet because she's somewhere else. And you're in the mess hall, all of you together. And it's not just the section. There are more people than the women in just the section there. You've got, most of the squadron is there, sort of having breakfast early morning. So, well, supper, really. Talking, gossiping, talking about things. And there's hubbub in the air. And one of the things that you notice as you hear a little bit of rumor and gossip is that of the 2 planes that got shot down last night, one plane had 2 airwomen who just arrived back on base. They had somehow been captured by the Nazis, it seemed, and escaped. So there were 4 airwomen who got shot down. 2 of them died in this crash, but 2 of them, apparently, rumor has it, were captured by the Nazis, but then miraculously escaped. And
as soon as someone says that, Irina's like, they wouldn't let them survive.
Well,
they must be traitors.
I just heard they escaped.
I doubt it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I hear that Captain Olga Barsukova is talking to them right now.
Interesting.
But they came back.
You know if were they actually captured?
That's what I heard. I heard they were actually captured.
Because, I mean, we went down and we escaped so much as people would.
Yeah, but we weren't captured.
Yeah, but nobody knew that.
I heard they were captured.
Who'd you hear that from?
Well, and you're talking to a woman, and she looks Greek. She's probably not, but you know her around. People call her the Greek. That's her nickname. She's Russian, but I think maybe her family is Greek. And so she's the Greek, and she's in 2nd Squadron, but she's not in your section. And she's like, well, I've got a friend of mine who's over in the 1st Squadron, in the same section that she was in. And apparently, well, those 2 women, and apparently that's what I heard, that they came back in, and they were one of the ones that saw them when they first came back on base, just like an hour or 2 ago. They said that the pair of them were actually captured, but they were able to somehow slip out or escape in some way. That's what I heard.
So you didn't hear how?
No, I didn't hear how. Although, I mean, people are saying things.
I don't like it at all. We all know how that last mission went. There was something really suspicious about it, if you ask me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if there really were a traitor. How did they know we were coming? Someone had to tell them.
And she looks around and she says, I heard something else.
Oh.
What else did you hear?
I heard that somebody broke into the map cases. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I heard.
This is going to make future flights all the more potentially precarious, I suppose.
And then someone else pops up and goes, hey, because you're at the mess tent. So it's like, I heard that Olga Barsakova's on the warpath because the general's coming in only a few hours, and it wouldn't look good to have any kind of traitorous or treason around when he gets here. That's what I heard. So look out, I bet there'll be more inspections.
Can the sound of my eyes rolling back make the sound? Is that how hard I can roll my eyes back?
Roll for it? No.
Irina's
I'll roll an eyeball and that my eyeballs are rolling.
Irina kind of like leans back and she's just like, I'm not afraid of that. They can inspect all they want. I have nothing to hide.
And the Greek's like, well, me neither. And then like you hear, by the way, just Irina, you hear not too far away, you hear, ha! And there is Ivanova, who's looking at you. Yeah, nothing to hide. Certainly not any skills you might have in piloting, which you don't have, unlike me.
I just move on with the conversation and not even let her finish her sentence. I'm like, if any of you have something to hide, I'd watch out.
They've been
I'm going to eye everyone up to see if someone's acting suspicious when I say that.
Oh, give me an eyeball roll, my friend. Give me an eyeball roll.
So which is that exactly?
Eyeball is just a skill. It's skill.
Okay. Skills to pay the bills.
We start early.
Partial.
Okay. You get one question that you can ask, and I imagine that question is probably going to be, who here is looking suspicious?
Yeah, that's my question.
Uh-huh. So I'm going to ask a couple of questions. What Irina said to the large group was, if anyone here has anything to hide, you better be nervous.
Yeah.
I want to know, amongst the group, PB is not here right now. She's having a conversation with some friends named Olga Barsukova. But the people who are not in interrogation at the moment, do you have anything to hide? Are any of you looking kind of suspicious?
I'm looking fed up.
So normal Titania look.
And
I
also
think
Titania would respond that they have been checking our bunkers enough that, or bunks enough that they would have found anything by now. They've been in there every hour.
You don't have to have something on your person to be suspicious.
Veronica, do you have any any suspiciousness?
no, after her last conversation with Olga Berskova, she's probably sitting there eyeballing as well. And that's why she's sitting there silently. She's just watching everyone.
I will say that Anastasia looks super nervous.
Well, yeah, I mean, that one's obvious. She always looks nervous. Like, I don't need to roll on that one.
She's looking like, uh-oh. She's like all through her mind, secrets, or like maybe people might think secrets, but then I don't know. So she's looking very suspicious.
Although I guess with what I found out from her sister, I'd probably glance at her because I know some things now that I just.
Yeah. And so she's looking super suspicious and guilty and a little freaked out yet again. But probably not about Germans. Just
no, her life is just a mystery in and of itself.
I think Veronica probably just kind of like puts her hand gently on her back, like, no, let it go. You're fine. Like, doesn't say anything.
Don't do that. She might think you are
like,
into her.
Oh, if you're around for more than 5 minutes, she's gonna have some sort of stirrings occurring.
But it's fine because she's gonna marry Alexei.
Yeah.
Well,
It might be difficult.
Fascinating.
No one's told her yet. So she doesn't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be I'm not. No, that's not for me. That's for someone.
You're like, Titania's the only one who knows that's sitting there right now.
It's true.
That is not for me to have with all of y'all.
Well, you might want to break to her that her dance partner is not on base anymore.
So,
You to break up the awkward silence as like Irina's like glaring at everyone.
So I think Tanya would bring up there's already been enough that's happened lately with Polya and other events. Which Anastasia, are you feeling ready for the talent show?
Well, there are two problems. One, I don't have music yet, and so Veronica said that maybe we could find people in our unit who can play instruments, and that would be really great if we could find that, because I really want the music so that I can dance. And I haven't seen Alexi yet, but we'll have to practice.
So, easier of the two. Veronica, since you brought up the music, how would you like to spread some knowledge tendrils around and see what you can find out?
All right.
Everyone seems to be open with you. And
Let's see what I can see.
Thank you. And as far as your dance partner goes, Alexi's not here, so Irina, I believe you are the only other person who can lift our Anastasia.
You got legs too.
That may be, but can you imagine me lifting her in the air? We're nearly the same size.
Do I look like somebody who dances?
You look like someone who can lift, and that's the important part.
But wait, where's Alexi?
So, how do I put this delicately?
He's not sick, is he? He wasn't injured in the last mission?
No, he's well.
Good.
Well, and I suppose I need to break it to everyone, since this is going to concern all of us sooner or later. So Alexi left and went to see Lena at the hospital, and they got married. They're going to be coming back shortly.
What?
What?
That
This
apparently, once he found out what was going on, he left base and apparently was able to get clearance for it, and went and married Lena so that she could come back.
this
Well,
is
congratulations to Lena.
Lena that was in the hospital for.
Yes, which of course, if she is married to Lexi, then she could not possibly be a Lavender Woman.
Mm. Yes,
Makes
that does
sense.
have a way
So
of
says the powers on high.
But I thought Alexi liked me.
I'm sure he likes you. They've known each other for a very long time. I'm sure it was a very stirring, emotional. Irina, so you're going to dance with her, correct? Look, you can't look at her. Don't let her be heartbroken like this.
I'm not promising anything elegant. I'll lift her. That's about it.
I think that's just fine. Right, Anastasia?
Yeah, but Lena was my best friend.
She'll still be your best friend then you can have two best friends and
You and Lena, I know. But
so anyway, so yeah, that's all I know anyway. And from my understanding, they should be back within the next couple of weeks, I imagine.
Veronica.
Yes, Anastasia.
So, the scar you have on your face isn't new. Did you always have it?
Anastasia, I told you. I'm sorry, you don't have to answer that question. I told her that it's not appropriate.
That's a little bold.
It's just so dramatic looking.
Oh.
It.
Pumpkin berries. Your reactions have been like the best.
I'm just sitting here with my tea. I'm ready.
I think at that point, while it seems unsure whether or not she's going to respond, Titania's going to start standing and see if she can usher Anastasia literally anywhere else.
Have I always had it? Are you the same person you were before the war?
We all kind of look at Anastasia and then look back at you like, yeah.
Perhaps a bad example.
Titania sits back down.
My town was one of the first to be bombed.
Oh.
I survived, and very few others did.
Did you fly out of there? Or
I don't have my own plane.
oh, right.
No.
Sorry.
You could say I'm one of the lucky ones. But it certainly doesn't feel that way.
Did you... I'm sorry, but you're here with us now, and we're a family too.
True enough. For a time.
No, we'll always be family. We're sisters.
You forget. One of the first things I said to you, Anastasia. I will not survive this war.
You will.
You will. You will. And I will survive it through your memory, and you will tell stories of all of us to your children, to your many children. And through that, we will live on. But I will not survive this war.
Let's hope she doesn't reproduce.
And Anastasia was like now just imagining like having lots of children and some kind of grand romance. And like some of the details of what happened, like you not being around, has just sort of missed her head a little bit. she's fallen into a little bit of a fantastical thought.
Probably so thinking so hard she doesn't even hear what Irina says.
Yes.
Titania's gonna reach out and like put her hand on Veronica and, you know, thank her. Thank you for sharing that with us. You didn't have to.
Silence serves no one.
Wait, did the scar come from a bomb though? Or did it happen when you were running away from the bombs and then you fell and then maybe a tree hit your face? Or...
Anastasia, what kind of man do you think you're going to marry?
Oh, I think I'll marry a pilot with beautiful hair.
Turning back to Veronica, thank you anyway for sharing. I understand I'm from Leningrad. And the war has done a lot to a lot of us.
It has. Are we back at our bunks, or are we in the mess hall?
You're in the mess hall.
Can I say that as we're having this conversation, we walk back because she'd be a lot more open about it in the barracks.
And
she would break out the vodka.
Before you get into your barracks, that lovely shanty tent, you are all like having this conversation, and Anastasia does that thing where she just sort of starts floating off a little bit. And before you can get right in there, you hear, yoo-hoo! And there is Captain Olga Barsukova, everyone's best friend, the head of the secret police. And she's there with a man with a camera, a sort of a film camera, and a woman. And this man and this woman are in civilian clothes, clearly. And she waves to the group, to your section. She goes, pardon me. I hate to be a bother, but Sergeant Nikita Volkova, if you wouldn't mind coming with me. And then she turns to the people she's with and she says, now, Sergeant Volkova has just been given a medal, and I think she'd be an excellent person for you to interview. Please come with me. Oh, everyone, these are people from Pravda, and they're going to be doing a little bit of filming in anticipation of the general being here about all the amazing things that we have done. And I am certain that you will all just make us all look very, very good. But if you'll excuse me, I have a couple of things to deal with. Excuse me for a moment. I'm going to need I'm going to need all of you to be in a formation in about 30 minutes, out in the flight line, something very important. Now, you people from Pravda cannot be at this formation because I'm going to need you to travel with Sergeant Volkova into the most nearest town so she can show you the church that has been bombed out and some of the villagers. Excuse me. And she just takes Nick and these press people out and away. And it seems very clear that Nick and the press people are going to be gone off base for a bit, during which you will have a formation that you are all expected to be at in about a half hour.
I wonder if it's for the general.
What else could it possibly be for other than to annoy us?
Fair enough.
No, at least it's not the talent show just yet.
Ugh, don't remind me about that.
And Anastasia's like, well, I'll have to teach you how to do the lifts, though.
Oh, I know how to lift things.
No, you have to lift me from the waist so that I'll show you.
Good luck.
I give Titania like the worst side eye.
And as you have a little bit of half hour, but sooner or later you're going to have to come to this formation that happens. And when you get to the formation, it's the entire regiment is there. And at the head of the formation, leading it, is Captain Olga Barsukova. Normally, when you have a full regiment, a regimental sort of formation, you have the regimental commander there. And she is there, but she is not leading this particular formation. It is very clear that this is Captain Olga Barsukova's deal. This is not... She is in charge of this one, which might make you feel a little bit concerned. You also have a number of women, some of the guards that are there. There's like 10. There's like a squad of women, not pilots, but sort of other members of the crew, and they're there with rifles, and they are standing up by her, and next to her are two women. One of whom looks... She's sort of medium height, and she looks exhausted. She looks like she's been crying, and she is like sort of a sandy blonde hair, sort of plain featured, kind of like a bit of a blood coming out of her nose. And she's a pilot. And next to her is another woman. And you can describe, PB, what your character is looking like at this moment, having been brought from some interrogations into this entire assembly of this formation of people. Yeah. What are you looking like right now?
Terrible. I have a black eye. I have blood all over my face. My hair is fallen out of its like neat tuck. There's blood on my uniform. Clearly, I didn't have time to, clean up or anything like that. I'm just looking very disheveled. And I'm looking down at the ground. I'm not looking up at anybody.
And being in this formation and having these two women who clearly must have been the ones who escaped the Germans right there in front of this formation with this sort of squadron of people with weapons to the side. I don't know. How are you all feeling right now?
Concerned.
I think that's a good word.
Mm-hmm.
Irina's hoping that like justice will be served is what her hopes are. I mean, she had to work her butt off to get where she is and beg to be able to be where she's at. So she kind of sees it in a different light than others who maybe know somebody and got where they got to.
So Captain Barsukova looks at the unit and she says, Airwomen, I have spoken to each and every one of you, and I've given you all of the knowledge that I could of how to be a good Soviet, and how to defend the motherland. And in those moments, I told you all that it is my job, as the Politruc, to root out any wreckers or saboteurs or traitors, and that treason would be met with the ultimate punishment, and that would be death. And as I'm sure you all know from the purges of 1938, that my authority is quite wide-ranging. And as I'm sure you also know, that we have very important business before us this evening, before our missions, and we don't want anything distracting us, as we have important guests. We have Pravda here, not here in the moment, they're in town, and of course we have a general coming as well. And one of the worst things that could happen to our regiment is to have a traitor, to have a saboteur. And she looks back at this pair of women. I have been told, and it is evidently clear, that someone betrayed us and gave information about our movements to the enemy, the Hitlerite bandits. And that sort of treason resulted in the death of 2 of our airwomen, and it could have resulted in the death of many more. And every time we go out at night with a traitor in our midst, that is more and more airwomen who could perish and die. I take such things very seriously. Now, I was so pleased when 2 of our airwomen were able to escape Nazi clutches to have them back in our family. Though, of course, one must ask the question, how did they get to come home? How were they able to escape? The Nazis do not like our airwomen. Stories of what they do to the airwomen are, I'm sure you've heard them all. Torture. Quite brutal. So to have them escape, relatively unharmed, somewhat confusing. Well, we had some interviews, we had some discussions, and I would like to thank Sergeant Anasova Andreeva, daughter of very influential members of the Communist Party. Clearly, someone who cares about the motherland, for telling me everything I needed to know about the woman that she has been flying with for the last year, that she has had meals with for the last year, that she has been best friends and comrades with for the last year, that she should surely know everything about. She has assured me that somehow any notions of treason were unknown to her. I know that seems very unbelievable. I'm sure none of you believe it, but I, as a generous and insightful person, surely believe that this woman is not a traitor. However, her pilot is. And there is only one punishment for traitors. We are going to take this woman, and we're going to take her out to to a field, and we will kill her. Anyone who wishes to see this execution is welcome to come. And our Sergeant Anasova Andreeva will be attending this execution. Anyone else who wants to see what happens to anyone who is a wrecker or supports wreckers is welcome to come. And if you do not wish to see justice being served, well, I will just take note of that. Come, follow. And this squadron of women move both of these 2 out past the airfield in the opposite direction of where the town is, where the press had gone. And they're going to lead them out to the field. And I want to know, some people follow, some people seem uncertain. Anastasia does not want to go at all. And she just sort of tugs at Titania's sleeve and she says, I don't have to go, do I?
I don't know that we have much of a choice.
I don't want to see that. That's terrible.
Come on, we can stand at the back.
Irina, do you go?
Yeah, Marina goes.
Veronica?
Immediately.
And mostly everyone does. There might be one or two who hang back, but once they see the masses of people, they all go. And you're taken off to a field. And Anasova is moved off to the side, not too far away. And this woman that you know from around the base, you've seen her before, and maybe you thought, I don't know what you thought about her. She didn't have a bad reputation. A little standoffish, perhaps, or maybe a little overly friendly. All of a sudden, the ways in which the rumors are going to go will sort of probably make her any number of things. And she's put up against a tree. And that squadron of 10 women who are probably mechanic armorers in other places or guards, they take a moment, they aim, and then they fire. And you can hear the sounds of these shots in the day. And she falls. And Olga Barsakova just walks over to Anasova and says, I'm glad that you aren't a traitor. This couldn't have been difficult. I'm sure you rejoice at the outcome of justice.
Of course I do.
Good. Well, now if you'll come with me, I have some good news and some bad news. Follow me. And she walks you over to Section 2C, where Titania and Irina and Anastasia and Veronica are. And she says, Section 2C, 2nd Squadron, C Section, my favorite of sections. I have some news for you. Now, this here is Sergeant Andreeva, who's from 1st Squadron. Her squadron doesn't want to serve with her anymore. They've decided that they would rather not have memories of someone of her reputation. And so I thought that it would be perhaps best if she moved sections and squadrons. And since your section and squadron has recently had an unfortunate death, there is an opening. And I thought that she would be made welcome in 2C in a way that she is not welcome in her old section. And she says that directly to you, Anasova, just turning that knife a little bit. Oh, I'm sorry. One more thing. Your Nick Volkova will be busy with the press for quite some time. So I thought we would fill in your section with one more. And I was told that the Ludmila Ivanova has come into your section a few times. She'll be brought in as well for your mission tonight. Please, take Sergeant Andreeva. And she gives this look to Veronica, just gives this look. Just keep an eye out for her and make sure she's at home.
I think Veronica gives a very, very subtle nod and then turns to Petrova and says, I will fly with her. Quietly, but like loud enough that the immediate circle hears.
Oh.
Or I volunteer to fly with her.
And by the way, I don't mean to make you all nervous. That body has to be taken care of. I'll be taking care of that. Well, not personally. Of course, I wouldn't want to soil my fingers with the blood of a traitor. But please do not forget that we'll be having an inspection in about an hour. And I know that pretty soon you'll want to be sleeping, but when you normally sleep is when we'll be having our dance. So you'll have to wake up a little bit early. And I expect to see some excellent, excellent talent from you all for the general. And yes.
Well, we would hate to let you down.
Well, I'm sure you would. Petrova, I want to make sure you are extra specially sharp in your dress at the dance. I think that it would be best if rather than some sort of civilian clothing, you wore your dress uniform to the dance tonight.
Of course.
And make sure you're especially sharp.
I will be as sharp as I can.
Good. Well. And then she just looks at you, Anasava, and she just steps a little bit closer to you and she says, I'm so glad that your family is so well connected, that they let me see how loyal you are to the state.
I won't disappoint you.
Oh, good. I hate being disappointed, as you can tell. And she just looks at this body that's slumped against a tree. And then she just gives you the sweetest smile. And she just pats you on the shoulder in the most motherly way. And she says, it's a beautiful day. And she walks off towards the sergeants, to the privates, and they're going to go and to oversee taking this body away as you are left in this section. You 5 there.
I'm going to turn and start going back to the barracks.
Yeah,
Irina in Irina fashion is like, she says something stupid. She just looks at Anasova and is like, did she show any signs that she was a traitor?
No. I had no idea.
Well, welcome to our squad. Let's show you to your new home.
Thank you.
Oh. And you get in this tent, and it is...
Can I?
grotty.
Sorry.
Please.
Does my family know her family?
Yes. Yes.
Or my husband's family knew her family?
Your husband's family knows her family.
Okay.
The Andreev family they're also fairly well connected, mostly based in Moscow, well regarded.
See, Trooper, I told you her name sounded familiar.
You did. That is why, because you know, and you may not know her, although you may have heard of her, being, but you certainly know their family as being people who they know people, high-ranking people, and they themselves they have a very spotless reputation. And what you would know about their family is that they not only do they have a spotless reputation, but they have a bit of a reputation of being a little bit zealots, right? Really, really loyal, and they did not have any trouble during the Great Purges. Their loyalty was never in question, and they sometimes perhaps did some fingering of other people as well. Her father, her mother, and her mother is a really important member of some of these sort of larger sort of councils as well. But if you're into party politics, they're very, very well connected, very, very loyal, and from most accounts, quite zealotous, is what I would say about her family. Anything you'd like to add from the inside?
No, I think that sums it up pretty well. I feel like we probably, I don't know too much about your how well connected you are, but if it's what I'm assuming, maybe we were at the same dinner when we were kids at one point, we've seen each other or know that each other exists, but we never really interacted.
I think you're substantially older than my character, though. By
Oh,
about
that's
10
true.
years.
Yeah. So then, maybe I saw you as a toddler, but you wouldn't remember any of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, so nice. And you are headed into these barracks, into these tents together. And you have Anastasia, who's still kind of freaked out. She's like, I'm going to go make a banner and then practice dancing. And she's going to head off towards the hangar where the mechanic armorers are, leaving you all together. And this is the moment where you can do some day moves if you like to try to figure out what you're going to do before this dance tonight. And maybe you can build up some mission pool.
I was gonna say, didn't Irina do an eyeball roll successfully?
She did, which means that she can use that as a carry-on when she wants to do something else. But eyeballs are basically free.
Got it.
Eyeballs are free. Words to live by. I am going to see. I'm going to make sure. Anasova, do you need anything? Do you need help bringing your things over?
I don't have any things anymore, but yeah, I'm okay.
And she's still bloody.
Yeah.
Let's get you cleaned up.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So do we have?
You've got like pots of water you can get.
Let's do that. Well, we'll grab some pots of water. And
you can put it on your stove. And
we'll do that. We'll bring her in. Titania's going to kind of show her in. And at this point, it's become so normal. She's forgotten that the Victrola is right there. Yeah. And that there's some maybe unusual objects for being in a war zone. But
yeah, so Anasova, their barracks are just as nasty and gross as yours. Okay. But this sort of like messed up tent, it's a little drafty. But there's this Victrola in there, this really nice record player with the huge bell, and
a big trunk full of dresses.
And a big trunk full of dresses. And there's like a little crate that's open, which they're probably hiding at various moments. But they have like a bottle of vodka that's pretty nice, not the kind of general issue vodka that is sort of crappy. So they've got a couple of nice sort of things here in this tent of theirs.
Okay.
So Titania's gonna heat up the water a little bit so it's not icicly. Then put a fabric. I will obtain a fabric from some location. We were talking about embroidery earlier. I will try and make sure it's not an underwear, but no promises. So I'll wet that and sit down and hand it across the way to Anasova.
I take it. I probably don't make eye contact with you. I'm in my own world, and I'm just gonna slowly wipe my face. Probably the same spot a couple times, like I'm in the zone somewhere. So
well, and Titania's gonna quietly say, "You did what you had to do."
Veronica is gonna grab one of the bottles of vodka, take a swig, and then pass it to her.
I'll take it and I'll look up at you, kind of nod a little bit, and then have a swig and then hand it back. I've known her for over a year and I had no idea. How could you keep a secret like that?
Were you able to find out anything that she said? Did they tell you?
No. Because they think I knew or that I was involved, so they didn't tell me anything. They were grilling me for information I didn't have.
Had you known her before you flew together?
No.
Well, you're here now. We will try to make you feel at home. We're all sisters after all.
I'll look up at you at this point. Thank you.
Tanya nods. I think she's going to get up and go find. I always forget. What's Anastasia's sister's name?
Svetlana.
She's going to go try and find Svetlana. I want more information on when Lenny's getting back.
And as you're walking out, there are a couple things here. As you're walking out, Anastasia's walking in with like a big thing of paper and like a bucket of paint and a brush. So it's like she's coming back in. She's going to do her work in the tent. But I think, PB, that this is a reach out. And so I would like you to make a reach out, which is just a regular 2d6. Oh, well.
Oh my.
Well.
I was muted. That's an 11 for those listening.
Thank you. That is very nice. You can choose 2 of the following 3.
Okay.
You can remove 1 harm each from you and your friend. Oh, sorry. I should just probably point this all out. All of you have 1 harm. Lottie-dottie, everybody has 1 harm because you are not, you're all stressed out and you're not getting enough sleep. So you all have that 1 harm.
That's fine. I'll keep mine.
So you can remove 1 harm from yourself and your friend.
Okay.
You can add 1 to the mission pool. And if you had a regard slot, which you do not, you could change the tone to your regard slot to be for Titania.
I will add 1 to the mission pool, and then I will heal myself, and then I will heal your. I'm sorry. Hold on. I wrote it down. I think is it Petrova?
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the hero we needed.
But not the one you deserved. You're Batman.
Man, if only you were around a few weeks ago, I would not have had a bum leg for like 3 days.
Okay. So,
when Anastasia's walking by,
yeah.
I'm gonna quickly just like, put a hand on her and be like, "Are you okay?"
She says, "That was so terrible. I mean, who does that? Who does that? Why would she make us watch that?"
Why don't you work on your sign and just try not to think about it?
It was so awful.
Titania's just gonna like pat her a couple times and walk out.
And Anasova, when you're thinking about Anastasia, she's young. She's young. You should be 18, 19. She looks younger than 18, and it might just be her attitude, but she looks young, and she looks a little freaked out, and she just sort of plops down in one corner of the tent and puts out this big sheet of paper, and she just starts drawing hearts and flowers in the corners of this paper. That is it looks like it's going to be a banner of some sort, and she's just sort of drawing these hearts and flowers in this tent. And maybe you can still smell. If you've ever been around gunfire, gunpowder has this smell, and the smell, it's like something burnt, but it also has some other kind of element to it, and you can still smell the gunpowder. And you are fairly close to that firing squad, and maybe there's a little bit of the ringing in your ears, and you might still have a little bit of the grit in your mouth. And it's quiet in the tent with just the sound of this paintbrush making these little flowers.
I'll take another swig of vodka. Does that thing work? Can we put it on?
Anastasia looks up. She goes, "Yes, it's mine. I brought it. I brought a lot of things.
It's beautiful."
Oh, thanks. And she cranks it up, and there's this nice sort of jazz foxtrot tune, and it plays. And she says, "I'm supposed to dance tonight at the talent show, but I need music, and I wanted something live, and I don't know any musicians."
Oh yeah, I was supposed to do that, huh? I've been distracted.
Also, the reason why I was being quiet was because I was not going to go in with them. I was going to go with Anastasia.
Yeah. Okay. Doing some. Yeah. And it tastes like graphite and charcoal. And so there's there's Veronica and Anastasia and Anasova there in this tent, and the Victrola plays, and she says, I mean, it would be wonderful, but I sort of hate dancing now, but I bet I could do it and it would be okay.
I'm sure it would be wonderful.
I think Veronica passes the bottle to Anastasia at this point and says, not a one of us is excited about this talent show. And we appreciate what you are doing.
I'm very good. It's just that I didn't want to be that person anymore. Anasova?
Yeah.
Who are you going to marry?
I have no idea.
Somebody handsome? And then she just like tears start coming out of her eyes as she asks this question.
I hope so.
And maybe somebody really nice?
Yes, somebody really nice and really handsome. A gentleman who knows how to dance. Maybe he plays the violin also. And maybe he knows how to cook. I don't know. I don't think about it that much, to be honest. Who are you going to marry?
I was going to marry Alexei, but he just married my best friend, who's so
Oh.
beautiful.
Oh,
But of course he'd marry her because she's so smart and funny and good looking and everything.
I like how everyone else who knows.
I look over. Literally anyone else. What is happening right now?
That's you, Veronica. You're the only other person there.
A silence.
We will find you another pilot, Anastasia. One who is just as handsome.
Oh, wait. Did you say you play the violin? You said also.
Yes, I play the violin. I did. I haven't in a while, but yes, I know how to play.
Can you play Tchaikovsky?
Yes, I was traditionally trained.
Oh, well, you have to play for me when I dance tonight.
I'm not really sure I'm in the right mind state to play a song for you in a talent show in front of a bunch of people who think I'm a traitor.
And Anastasia looks to Veronica to get Veronica to help her convince her. Like, it's that pleading look where she looks to Veronica like please.
I think Veronica says, perhaps we can find another violinist, since we will need to find a violin. And she kind of tries to say that gently because she thinks perhaps there was a violin and now there isn't a violin.
Accurate.
And yeah.
But I don't want to dance without music.
There will be music. If we can find a violinist, we will. And if not, there's the Victrola.
If you can find a violin, I will play for you.
Really?
Sure.
Veronica? Will you find a violin, please?
I'll do my best.
Thanks.
I kind of look over at Veronica apologetically, like I'm sorry, like
I didn't mean to rope you into this.
I think she puts a hand on Anasova's shoulder as on her way out, just briefly, as she walks out to go and find a violin in a war zone.
And Anastasia goes back to writing "Will you marry me" across this big banner. I don't know how someone thinks about that, but it's this huge banner that she's writing, "Will you marry me?"
Oh, it's so sad though. She just found out that her soulmate just got married to someone else.
Yeah.
I actually know exactly where I'm going to go.
Let's go find out let's find out about our Irina and Titania first, and then we'll find out about your violin. Heading over towards Svetlana.
Going again.
Sveta. Now, generally speaking on this base, there's a lot of hubbub. Everyone's really stressed out because there was just an execution just like 15 minutes ago, and there's a general coming in a couple hours, and everything's really, and the press is here, and it's just really uncomfortable and stressful. And you head off towards the sort of the building, the converted building where the commands are, and you head down that hallway, and Olga Barsakova's office is empty. She's probably off doing whatever it is that she does.
Anyone else?
She's probably, I don't know, being nice to children or something, and
running rampant in the city somewhere. Buildings.
And you two head down to the end of this hallway off to the left, which is where Svetlana's office is.
While we're walking down there, I'm gonna ask Irina, after everything that happened with Polly, how are you doing?
I'm fine. Why?
Just want to make sure you're ready for our flights.
I always am.
That's all there is to that conversation.
Is it a reach up? Nope. It is not.
And...
Maybe? No. It could.
What about you?
I just want to make sure that as many of us make it back in one piece as possible.
That's
Fighting
funny.
for the greater good, though, right?
I'm with Veronica. I'm willing to put my life on the line.
Well, I think it's unrealistic for any of us to think otherwise.
She just like nods at you.
All right. Walk in,
and
walking down the hall.
Down the hallway, business, shuffling papers. And there in that last corner, that last office on the left, there is Svetlana, and she's behind this desk, and she's on a phone. And then she sees you all, and she sort of puts up a finger, and she says, well, the entire office is committed to welcoming her back and supporting her now that she's cured. If you can just please let the hospital know that we are happy to have her back, and that we hope that this will be expedited as quickly as possible. Yes. Deputy Politrik Shermetova. Yes. Yes, and we've also spoken to his commanding officer, and he says the same thing, yes. Mm-hmm. Of course. Thank you. She hangs up.
May we come in?
Come in.
Close the door. Sit down.
And then she looks at Irina, and she's like, you're not going to throw anything, are you?
Why? Do you want me to? No.
Oh.
It sounds like you were perhaps having a conversation about the topic of our visit.
So Volkova did tell you?
Yes, I shared with the immediate squad as quietly as I could. Do we have any knowledge on when she will be returned?
Well, we're still taking care of paperwork here. Luckily, it's convenient that our junior lieutenant Popov's uncle is the regimental commander of the 218th, so that gives a lot of pull.
I was going to ask how this happened.
Well, when your uncle's the regimental commander, apparently you can get leave on very short notice.
Indeed.
So my understanding is that he is there now and that they got married fairly quickly. And we're just trying to convince the hospital that it's appropriate to let her leave. Hopefully she won't be there longer than a week, I hope. Or some.
So, what then does this mean for our squad? Will she be rejoining us?
Would you not like her to?
Oh, no, I would love her to. I just didn't know if we'd find ourselves with an extra pair of arms.
Well, my thinking is that if you need... Well, I think it's probably not good long-term for Ivanova to stay in your section. I imagine we can trade out Ivanova for Dozmanova.
That would be ideal.
Irina's like very satisfied with this.
I guess my only other question, I have yet to see many scenarios like this unfold. Will Lena and Alexei be stationed together onward as we continue, or how does that work?
No. It will be perhaps a little bit awkward that we are currently stationed with the 218th, but they will remain in their own separate barracks, no fraternization, even though they're married. I mean, of course, they will be allowed to spend afternoons with each other or some free time, but that's not really appropriate. And I think they'll have to do what many people do, that when we move on to our next duty station, I imagine the 218th won't be going with us, and they'll just have to send letters with each other.
That sounds fine. I figured it's hard enough to keep lookout of everyone, much less with Alexei being added to the mix.
Oh, if there's any sort of... Well, I was going to say if there was any sort of trouble that you could come to me and I would squash it, but I think that disrupting that pairing might not be ideal for everyone else involved.
And what about Lena? She's been basically wrongfully accused.
Well, she's cured now. Listen, let me tell you both something that you should probably know. If you've never been around this sort of a thing before. When someone returns from accusations like this, there are rumors. And people, smart people, will avoid such accused people, so as they not to be tainted, or people might not think anything of them. Her being married might give her might not totally destroy her friendships. People may feel comfortable speaking to her now that she's married. I don't know. It may be difficult for her coming back. She may be shunned a little bit by some of the women in the unit. Just know that.
Well, one of her many qualities is that she is very resilient, and she at least will have 5 women who will stand by her side.
Be careful. I don't know whether or not Captain Barsukova will... Well, actually, I do know her very well. She doesn't forget anything. So, while this is good for Lena, and therefore good for anyone who Lena had associated with, she'll just have to be careful, and everyone who is friends with her will have to be careful.
Well, after what we saw this morning, I would say anyone anywhere is going to have to be careful.
Yes. That was quite the display.
Well, I appreciate everything that you've done in the matter with Lena. Sending her extra food and keeping me apprised.
Listen, you have Andreeva in your section now.
Yes.
I don't know for how long. You should know that from the interrogations, it seems very clear that she didn't know anything.
Well, after she was interrogated by our own secret police, I would have assumed no less.
But Captain Barsakova is not convinced. That may become a problem for you.
Well, duly noted. She can't turn back this quickly or she'll look foolish, and I doubt she would want that.
No.
We'll keep an eye on her.
Good.
I mean, it's not like we can get away from each other anyway.
Alberg, are you going to get into another fight with Ivanova?
I mean, I'm not planning on it.
Alberg.
We could always use that for the talent show.
Yes, I would much rather do that than dancing. Can we do like a boxing ring thing? Because that's my style. I'm into it.
Is that an act up?
Oh, yeah.
Go
Totally
ahead.
an act like a lady.
Yeah, it's
It's not acting like a lady, though, I don't think.
For sure.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
All right. I think I get to roll guts on this.
You do get to roll guts.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I get any bonuses here.
I don't think so.
No. 13.
Hey!
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Glowing success.
Of course, this is the roll that I succeed on.
This is the most important role.
this is the most important role. You can choose 2 of the following 3 options. 1, you can get what you want, which in this case would be a boxing match as part of the talent show between you and Ludmila Ivanova.
Fight, fight, fight.
You can add 1 to the mission pool, or you can ensure there are no consequences for you acting up.
For sure putting a thing in the pool. And I think I want the boxing match.
Okay.
This
Uh-huh.
can only go well. This can only go well.
We are just tallying up these repercussions.
Oh,
so.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be amazing.
So you're like, I want this boxing match. And maybe you say
I
it as
don't
a...
have to play the violin.
Oh, no. Both.
Oh, okay.
Los dos.
Just playing a fight song on the violin.
We're just adding, it's going to turn in some weird, like, new age art performance. It's going to be unspeakable.
And
They're going to call it Traitor.
Traitor.
God, that's terrible.
Shirametova leans back when you say that. Maybe you were just joking. And she's like, a boxing match.
Under my breath, Tiny's going to be like, Arena, what did you do?
You know what? She says as she leans in. I think that might be excellent. You and Ivanova clearly have something you have to get through, and I don't like the idea of the 218th just seeing us as skirts.
Tanya's like, as she's whispering and nudging me, I'm like, I kind of lean back and I'm like, see, I'm glad we could come to an agreement. This is much better than me lifting Anastasia around.
What?
Yeah, like they're trying to make me be her dance partner or something.
She had shared with us that she's a very accomplished ballet dancer, and she was going to have Alexi as her partner, but
Oh.
as you know. And anyway, it's just going to be some harmless lifts.
Well,
But I'd rather do this instead.
you'll have to do
I think
both.
it'd be more entertaining.
No, I want to see you in a tutu.
I'm not wearing a tutu.
Or whatever.
Or whatever. What's that mean?
Well, it seems like at least it's going to be a very entertaining evening.
Wait, I have to do both now?
Yes.
What?
Tanya's going to look at her like, you did this to yourself. You did this to yourself.
Arena's now not happy with the situation. She thought she was like swap seeing the situation.
No swapses. Airwomen, excuse me, I have business to do. Pardon me, Petrova, could I speak with you one moment?
Of course. She's going to look at Irina like, I'll be out in a second.
Irina's just like, oh, you meant alone?
Yes.
Right.
She'll say to her, don't listen to the door, I'll fill you in afterwards.
Sure. Irina's gonna go out and just gonna listen through the door.
Of course she is.
Like, what?
And Svetlana looks at you again and she says, I appreciate your discretion.
Well,
Salutes him, and she's like, junior lieutenant. And she walks out.
as we've seen, one cannot be too safe.
Many women in this unit are messy. They're indiscreet. I have no tolerance for that.
Neither do I. It's a matter of life and death, as we've seen.
It is. I can't trust a woman who's indiscreet.
I'd like to think that you'd be able to trust me.
Maybe.
After all, you even trusted me with the caretaking of Anastasia, and we both know what kind of responsibility that can be.
Yes. You know, she's only 16.
I had a suspicion.
Well,
She got herself into a mess.
she did. She did. She basically ran away from home. More or less.
Do your parents know?
They do, but there's nothing they can do about it now without losing face.
Of course. We know how much face matters.
Yeah. You know, I've read your records.
Yes.
Captain Barsakova still has an eye on you, but not as much. I think you're somewhat safe. And if I notice anything, I would let you know.
I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I had the distinct impression she was not my biggest fan.
She's
Well,
not.
Not the biggest fan of my family.
It's more your family, but as she once said, the sins of the father.
Don't we know it?
Well, if you ever need to discuss leadership strategies or anything like that, you're always welcome to visit.
Titania's gonna lock eyes and just stare for a second. I may just.
Well, good. I will keep you apprised if there's any information.
Wonderful. Are you coming to the talent show tonight?
I am coming to the talent show tonight. You'll probably see me dancing with the Deputy Politruck of the 218th.
Oh. Well, enjoy that.
You would do well to find some of their flyers to dance with as well.
Huge sigh, audible, maybe even a lingering sigh that lasts a few seconds. I am certain there will be plenty of young men eager to dance with anyone who is a woman.
Yes. But
at least we'll get to see a fight.
That's true. And I think Captain Barsakova will hate
I love it even more. So, well, see you at the dance then.
I will see you at the dance.
Then leave. Gonna kind of step a little bit louder, closer to the door.
I like move away from the door and totally act like I wasn't listening in. And I also have some stuff to tell to Tanya as we walk back.
I'm ready.
Yeah, once we're like away from the building and walking back, I'm like, I'd be careful.
Oh?
Look, I think she might be one of them.
One of what? Apollo trucks?
No. Lavender girls. She said some things to me in private. I don't know if she was hitting on me or something. I don't know. Now I'm sounding like Anastasia.
Quizzical expression. What did she say to you?
She kind of implied that she was, interested in women.
Well, I'll say to you what everyone said to Anastasia. Keep your head down.
Look, I know how to keep myself out of their eyes. I'm just looking out for you.
Well, I appreciate
it. Wouldn't want you to get dragged into something that, well, let's put it this way, might make you end up like a Nova's friend.
Well, Jadani's going to have a genuine smile. We all have to look out for each other. And I do appreciate it.
Yeah. I never really do that this way. I don't know. You're growing on me.
Hey, well, I'm like mold. What can I say?
I'm sorry, Maggie. You cannot escape the reach out.
All right. What is this roll?
That was some vulnerability right there. This is just a regular 2d6. That.
All right.
You cannot. Oh, no.
Partial? 7.
Mm-hmm.
So Tanya's actually getting some people reaching out to her.
Hey, we're bonding.
Bonding a little bit. So you may remove a harm from yourself and your friend, which would be just for you. You may change the target or tone of one of your current regard slots to be towards Titania, or you can add one to the mission pool.
Mission pool, though.
I'll add one to the mission pool.
Fair. Now, let's zoom over as they're walking back to Veronica. Where are you headed?
She's going to find Olga Bersakova.
So Olga Barsukova is not in her office, but you know that she's been dealing with an execution that she orchestrated fairly spectacularly. And so you see her out on the flight line, sort of talking to people and sort of directing things here and there. And she's got an edge of tension because there's a general coming in only a few hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's like directing things here and there. And then when she's done with that, she turns and she starts walking back. And there you are.
Captain.
Oh, Sergeant. It is good to see you. I hope that you were as invigorated by today's assembly formation as I was.
Of course. I wanted to talk to you about the surviving member of the demonstration this afternoon.
Yes. Tell me.
And there's nobody else around, right? So she kind of leans in somewhat conspiratorially because this is Olga, right?
Olga loves conspiratorial leaning.
Exactly. And she's trying to play that up as much as possible. So I have volunteered to pilot for this navigator to, if nothing else, keep an eye on her, make sure we are fully aware of where her loyalties lie, and if there is cause for distrust, then I've taken that on myself. But I wonder if there might be a favor you could do me to facilitate gaining her trust.
Tell me.
She had a violin. I would like to retrieve it for her, which would give us the added benefit of having live music for tonight's talent show.
Roll that scrounge for me, my friend.
I was hoping to avoid the scrounge.
No, roll the scrounge. It's a luck.
What? It's luck?
Yep.
I'm not good at luck. That's fine. It's fine. We're just going to do this.
What are your regards? Oh, all right.
Oh.
I don't have any regards.
Choose 2. You attract unwanted attention. Take 1 harm from lack of sleep. You get poor quality stuff. You incur a debt. I feel like you're attracting unwanted attention right now.
Yeah. I mean, that one's a given.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of her MO. And then, I mean, maybe the violin wasn't a very good violin. No. What were the other ones?
Take 1 harm for lack of sleep. Poor quality stuff and incur a debt.
I will take 1 harm.
Okay. You are just, this is a lot of running around. And she says to you, you interest me. Sergeant Cardina, have you ever thought about joining the NKVD?
My husband often said the same thing.
Your husband was a great hero and a wise man. I will keep my eye out on you. You have great promise.
Veronica smiles politely.
Yes, I think I can get this violin for you. If that will help you with your mission.
I do think it will. I think this will help her to open up and learn to trust me. If perhaps if she is, as I'm sure you still may be concerned about, if she is a traitor, then I'll get her to open up to me.
Sergeant Cardina, if you keep up with this, I see promotions and medals in your future.
Thank you, Captain.
Oh, my pleasure. I will send this violin over immediately. And she has this, like, she's just so excited right now.
Mm-hmm.
She's suspicion-gasming.
She is.
Yeah.
She is.
Yep.
And she goes off before you head back to these barracks. And when you arrive there is this huge banner that says, Sergeant Yu, will you marry me? Sergeant Smirnoff. And there are all these little hearts and flowers that are there. And I'm not going to say the thing about the consequences for later, but I'm going to just say that there are consequences you've been racking up, and, sometimes it might happen. And maybe soon. I don't know. And a violin is brought in. And it's the person who brings it in, Anasova, is one of your old section women who you used to fly with, that you used to sort of sleep in the same tent with. And she walks in and she puts the violin on the floor.
As soon as she walks in, and Veronica presumably is back by now, sees the violin case, immediately stands up and meets her as close to the door as possible, kind of blocking.
Yeah. Okay. And she's like, I was told to bring this here for her.
Thank you.
And there's like a dirty look that I think Anasova can't see because Veronica's blocking that.
Yeah. And giving the scar side as well, as she says, thank you.
And she just kind of gives this little snort and she leaves.
Meanwhile, inside the barracks.
Tell me.
Irina walks up to Ivanova
Mhm.
and like kind of like punches her in the arm a little, not like hard, but just like kind of like, hey,
What?
we're on.
What do you mean we're on?
I might have got us a boxing match for tonight's show.
Between who?
Me and you.
Oh, you and I?
Yeah. All that talk.
Oh,
Now we'll see who's really got what it takes.
look, at that last fight, you sucker punched me.
Yeah, that's the point of punching someone.
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, you're never ready for a punch. That's the point.
Well,
Tatiana's gonna go over by Veronica and just be like, just stand there with her arms crossed, like, we are gonna be in for a show.
Here's what's up. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, you're definitely not going to be up because you're going down.
No, I'm not going
Yeah.
down. You're going down.
That's like the worst comeback ever. You can't just repeat what I said.
Yeah,
Get some new lines.
you need new
Ivanova,
lines.
You got a couple hours to think about it. And Irina kind of like hops over to her bunk and like satisfactory, like just kind of like leans back with her arms behind her head on her pillow.
And then Ivanova looks at you and she goes, all the while, eye contact with you, she says, Sharametova, don't you need practice for ballet? We don't have a lot of time. And Anastasia, who's like looking at her beautiful banner, is like, oh, you're right. Oh, Irina, will you help me? Let me show you how to do a lift properly, and then I can show you a little bit of the steps.
You know what? Irina like says while she's still looking up at the top of her bunk, kind of pulls something out from under the bunk that she's had like slid in there, takes it out, puts it in her pocket, and swings her feet back around and looks over at Anastasia and says, yeah, let's go practice. And she kind of gives Ivanova a glance and also to Tanya.
Great, we can go to the hangar. There's a lot more room there. And then no one can see our special moves. It'll surprise everybody. Come on.
Yeah, you just said it out loud, so it's not a special move anymore.
But they don't know what it looks like.
Yeah, I guess. Sure.
As they go, Tatiana's gonna say to Irina, yell really loudly if you need help.
She just gives to Tanya like a smile with a glint of, oh, you don't know what you just asked for.
Oh no, there's gonna be mischief. And with that, we're gonna go to break. It is our break time, everybody. When we come back, there's gonna be a talent show. It's gonna be a talent show.
It's gonna be a train wreck.
Train wreck. Plane wreck talent show.
Like a wreck, you won't be able to avert your eyes.
If I
Yeah,
can walk
you'll just
away
be
from
like,
that
I have
plane
to
wreck, I
watch.
advance.
That's if you walk away from it, though, right?
Hey, I level up if that happens. I'm in.
That's right. I mean, this might be a plane wreck. We have some donations that we're going to read out because when you donate, oh, I totally forgot that. Hey, everybody. We're the Geek Space. If you want to support us, you can support us with tips and bits, and we will read out those donations over break. You can also subscribe. And if you do, you can subscribe for free on Amazon Prime. You can also, which is probably over there, you can also support us on Patreon if you like. And you can follow us, and you can join us in our Discord, and you can hang out with us and, you know, be cool and see our fan art. There are lots of ways to hang out in the Geek Space and be part of our community.
Fan art.
So many fan arts. So we have a couple of donations, and the first one is from Propagandabot, who donated $5 and says, Comrade Propagandabot here to encourage all comrades to attend the talent show being organized by the patriotic women of the 588. If you cannot attend, you might be a traitor. If you do not applaud, you might be a traitor. Vodka for to, yes. And we have some wonderful. We Are Nerdsmith gave some gift subs. Thank you for those gift subs.
Ooh.
And also thanks for the subscription to the Fennec Wolfchild. PH, our own Paladin Hulk, donated $5.69 and says, and this is a poem from Osip Mandelstam, who is this amazing poet from this moment who died in a gulag during the Great Purge. And the poem is, "A wandering fire at a fearful height, but does a star twinkle like this? O transparent star, wandering fire, your brother Petropolis is dying." And, oh hey, Maggie Crone subscribed. What? Mm-hmm. And Willem TW donated $10 with this one quote. "That was awesome. Thanks." Welcome, PB. You're great. So there's some love for our PB right there. Thank you, everyone. We're going to go on break. We'll be back in, about 10 minutes, and then we're going to have a talent show. And also a boxing match. A boxing match talent show. Go hydrate, get some water, stretch your legs, and come back in 10. We'll be here just waiting for you. Take care, everybody. And we are back. Welcome to the second half of Night Witches, Toil and Trouble, Episode 7, Talents. So far, we have many talents already being on display, and I'm excited to find out what the rest of them will be. We've had shenanigans in the first half, and we are now including an execution and dance practice. But they work well together. Welcome, everyone.
Those are all, that's like an emotional roller coaster that you just put everyone on. If someone's just tuning in, they're like, what?
What? Yeah. If you're just tuning in, don't worry, it was fine. There was an execution and then there was ballet. It's cool. People laughed, they cried. They used manipulation to get a violin back. There was some maybe some flirting going on somewhere. We'll see. I don't know.
There was flirting going on.
It might have been. There's a lot of flirting going on. We are playing Night Witches, a World War II RPG about the Soviet airwomen who fought in World War I era biplanes, bombing Nazis. And this game is about the sort of the drama back and forth. And in our first half, we learned that there were traitors, a traitor in the unit, and that traitor was executed. And her navigator was then put into our sections, into our PC's section to join them because her old section did not want to have her around anymore. And the group has sort of come together. They're working on this big talent show. They've got a general coming in, and there's a lot of sort of stress and tension and a lot of things in the air. And we are in this moment where we are coming towards the talent show part of the evening. They've been running around, doing lots of things, getting ready for this. And as we're getting towards, it's not yet nighttime for them to go on their mission, but it's evening time, and this dance is being set up. And this dance is going to happen in one of these large hangars at the of the 218th, sort of big space, and it's already been sort of decorated, and everything is being set up. And at the front of this, there's going to be this talent show. But before they have this, everybody has to go through this large inspection, right? The general arrives on the base in the airfield, and he's there with his entourage and his retinue, and everyone has to stand in their uniforms, stand in their barracks, and the 218th gets the general first. He goes to their unit first. And so the 588th has to wait. They have to wait standing in front of their sad, embarrassed tents for this general to come with everything sort of spick and as clean as possible. And after a while, finally this general arrives, and you can hear the hullabaloo. And of course, Pravda's there now, the newspaper is there, the little film crew is there, your regimental commander, Yevdokia Bershkanskaya, is there, all of the brass are there, and they're all going through each squadron by squadron. And finally, they make it towards Squadron 2, Section C. And you are all there as this general is there, and the press is there, and everyone is there looking. And he is this sort of large man with a bit of a pot belly, but like graying a little bit, very sort of serious look, a bit of a scar right on his forehead. And he walks into your tent with everybody else, and there is really no room for everyone in this tent. And he looks around, and of course you have the major who's like, and this is Squadron 2 Section C right now, and like sort of giving a bit of a context for who you are and describe some of the missions they've done. There's no mention on Asova of you having been the navigator for that pilot. That's just not mentioned. You're just sort of framed as if you're in this section, this squadron all along. And as all this talking is happening, he just stands there stone-faced and looks around at everybody. And then he looks at Irina Alberg. And he walks up to you. And his entourage don't quite know what to do. Like, there's a colonel, right? Because here's the thing about generals. Generals always have some sort of major or colonel who's there to, like, shepherd them around places and make sure they only see pretty things and everything looks really nice. And anytime the general goes off message, they start getting nervous because they want it to just move fast. And he walks up to you, Alberg, And he goes, if it isn't you! Huh. Well, I see you made it.
General?
What rank are you now?
Sergeant?
Sergeant. Huh. Well, when are you getting promoted?
When you promoting me, sir? She jokes.
And he laughs. He's like, and he turns to the major and he goes, Barshansky, Major Comrade, this one here, watch out for her. She's trouble. She's like 14 pounds of trouble in a 10-pound bag, but she's a good one.
Irina smiles and then tries to straighten up again.
Alberg. Are you causing trouble?
Always, sir.
Good. That's what I like to hear. Well, after this dance of this talent show, I'll be really excited to see what kind of airwoman you are. And I hope you bomb some Hitlerite bandits.
She nods. Be my honor, sir.
Carry on. And they sort of... And that kind of discussion means that he didn't really inspect the thing because he was just sort of talking to Alberg. And as he's walking out, he's like, Comrade, to the major, the unit commander, you should look out for her. She's really, like, she's got a lot of guts. She's got a lot of heart. I think she'll do great things. And you that sort of trails off as he leaves, leaving you all alone as the whole entourage sort of exits the space.
Well, that was easy. She says, and she goes back to sitting in her bunk.
And Ivanova gives you the stink eye.
I don't even notice, probably.
I think Titania's playing with the idea of, like, is it worth trying to ask? Would it even... And I think she ultimately decides just not to.
Aww.
But Anastasia is looking at you with these huge eyes in awe.
Love is in the air.
No, just more in awe. Just like, whoa. And then just like, Irina.
What?
Do you know him? The general?
I mean, what do you define as knowing?
You know him. Oh my gosh. How do you know him?
Basically, I sat in front of his office for probably a month straight until he let me join.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Swede. People don't really trust people that much around here. She tries not to, like, look over at
Well, I'm glad you're here.
You sat there for a month. And he just finally let you.
Well, it's a bit more than that. I've been flying planes since I was a little kid. It's part of me. I think he knew that. Just at some point, I think that he was just testing me to see how long I would sit out there. Let's be honest.
It's impressive.
Yeah. I got real hungry.
And then Anastasia, her eyes go a little bit bigger, and she says, where did you go to the bathroom? Did you sleep on the floor? Did you take a what about your clothes?
So are you two ready for the talent show? It's time it's coming up.
Guide her.
So you're dancing, I hear.
Oh, it's going to be really good. Oh,
I feel like she's that dog in Up, and she's just like,
Yeah.
squirrel.
So Titania's going to ask, are you ready? And look at Irina. Are you ready?
Irina just keeps looking up at the top of her bunk where there's something up there. And then I guess if it's about time, then she will go and grab the thing from up in the bunk again and put it in her pocket. She's like, I'm always ready.
Do you guys need anything for this boxing match?
Just my fist.
Everyone goes like, yeah, just my fists.
I'm sorry to do this.
Please.
I'd like to eyeball Arena as she's grabbing something from her
Please do.
bong.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
That is some skill.
Okay. Whoa.
I think anyone who's on a bottom bunk would probably have an easier
Marshall?
time seeing what I'm doing
Oh
than.
my goodness.
I imagine your question is, what is she doing?
Yeah, what is that?
What is that?
You just see it looks like a little coin of some sort or something like that, but you're not. I mean, you probably aren't sure what it is with a partial, I guess. But that's what you see is like that she pulls a coin or something like that.
Shiny, something small.
Yeah, something shiny that's coin shaped, but it's kind of large.
Okay, and you stick it in your pocket?
Yeah, she sticks it in her pocket.
Okay.
And it's time for the dance. Your dance is sort of early, so around 5-ish. And you're all led there. I'm going to ask what you all are wearing to this dance.
I'm in my dress uniform, as snazzy as possible, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Dress uniform.
Do I have a dress uniform?
You do.
I do, but like, would I have to? Yeah, I guess maybe it was probably brought with my things, maybe? Okay,
Yeah.
Sure. I will also
I'm
be
not gonna let you out of it that easily.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my dress uniform. It's not. I look real uncomfortable, and I'm walking real weird in these shoes.
And Anastasia's wearing one of her really nice dresses that is not a uniform.
That figures.
Yeah. And when you get to this dance, the hangar sort of lit fairly well. It's not really fancy, but there is a whole bunch of the 588th and the 1218th all there, sort of milling around a little bit awkwardly. And before the dance is going to actually start, they're going to start with this talent show. And they're going to start with the dance because they want to make sure you're not injured for the dance part.
That makes sense.
That's fair.
And, before your start, somebody comes up and recites some poetry. And then there's various sort of, somebody juggles, somebody's a juggler. And then the stage is set. And Anasova, tell me about, because you start playing. And there's a bit of like the 218th, they don't know.
Does she have to roll her skill with her violin?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You tell me. Tell me about how you start. Tell me how this goes.
Okay. I probably take a shaky breath and close my eyes and try to remember what it was like to play a violin without wartime memories and things. And then I will probably I'll hover over the violin for a bit. And I think people might get uncomfortable at how long it takes me before I start to play. And then I start to play, and I was classically trained. It sounds pretty beautiful, if I'm allowed to say that.
Yes, you are.
Sounds really good. And it's very mournful. So even though I think it was supposed to be an uplifting song, but there's still a lot of like sad emotion in it while she plays. So, yeah.
And as you're playing this beautiful tone, right? Your vibrato is perfect. And the notes of the violin just hover in the air in that way, that kind of expressiveness that like only a string instrument can give you. And Anastasia sort of moves out, and she's changed into something a bit more ballet appropriate. So like, sort of tights and a dress that's not the fancy one she was wearing earlier. And she comes out, and she has a pair of point shoes. And she comes out and she starts to dance first. And you know that she's going to signal you, Irena, to come out for the big moment. And she starts to dance, and she comes out with this smile on her face, And as she starts to dance, and she's graceful, but as she starts to dance and she dances along with your violin playing, And your violin playing is so mournful, beautiful but melancholy and sad. And this kind of painted on face that she has, smile, just sort of drops a little bit. And as she begins to dance, at first it starts off like she's a princess, right? That kind of like the princess dance. Maybe it's like the, Nutcracker, that sort of a thing. But as it goes on, it feels more Black Swan than Nutcracker. And she sort of matches your mournfulness of your playing. And her movement slows down. And it is this moment of, you can see in her a depth of sorrow that you never see in her, that feeds off of how you are playing the violin and reinforces what you're playing and feeds back on it. And she has such a sense of musicality that her dancing is perfectly aligned with everything that you play. And she has amazing leaps and amazing lift, and you can tell that she is a trained ballet athlete.
I'd like to, if I notice
Please.
that, like as I'm playing and I notice that she can match, I will 100% add more crescendo in so that she can do more leaps and jumps. I would absolutely try to do that if I see how talented she is, because I want everybody to remember what it was like before now.
And the entire crowd just goes to a bit of a hush at this moment, which seems a little magical. And in one of these moments of crescendo and of beauty, when she sort of gets such height and length across the stage, she finishes this sort of long leap, and she gets to where Irina is, and she gives you a gesture to sort of bring you onto the stage, so that she can do this amazing lift that she's practiced with you.
Right before she sees that, Irina pulls out from her pocket that coin that she has, looks down at it and says, "Well, Polya, you wanted to dance." And she like holds it in her hand, kind of in like a similar fashion that she held Polya's hand, puts it back and walks out on the stage, and is not as graceful as Anastasia, but does her best.
Tell me about the lift.
Irina like tries to like walk the way that Anastasia told her on her tippy toes, but is like a little offbeat. And then she gets to this point where she's supposed to stand, where there's actually like an X on the floor with the duct tape, because Irina kept missing the spot and Anastasia kept falling. And she just kind of like puts her hand out and waits for her to like make contact. And as soon as she gets her hands around her waist, lifts her up in the air.
And it's this amazing lift that's perhaps from Dirty Dancing, but not. And of course, Anastasia's got the core strength. So she is up in the air, lifted up. And it's this moment where I can imagine that Anasalva has this beautiful sort of crescendo moment in the violin. This like beautiful, delicate high note, I can imagine, right at the top. And there she is up in the air, and you can almost catch her breath. And then she's put on the ground, and everything is quiet. And Anastasia moves to the front of the stage. And Irina, perhaps you can see a little bit of twinkle of mischief in her eye as she moves right to the front of the stage.
Oh, I know what she's doing.
And she does a curtsy. And then when she stands up, she kicks this banner that she had hidden at the front of the stage, and it unfurls. And it says, "Sergeant Yu, will you marry me? Sergeant Smirnov." And there's a bit of an uproar as everyone's like, "What?" And Boris Smirnov was like, "Sergeant Yu, marry me. The dance was good. I provided things. Marry me." And she just looks embarrassed. And she's like, "Fine, I guess." And like, he hugs her and they kiss, and everyone like goes, "Woo!" And there's like a bit of a, and everyone's like, "Oh." And then Svetlana comes on stage and she says, "Not to take away from my sister's dancing, but we, the women of the 588th, want you to know that there are more sides to us than just dance and poetry. For our final bit of talent, we have a boxing match between two of our best scrappers, Sergeant Irina Alberg and
Irina's still
Sergeant
standing there. She's like, oh, right.
Ludmila Ivanova.
I lift things up and I put them down.
Yeah.
Now, at this announcement, there's a little bit of like a... And the regimental commander looks a little uncomfortable. Like, there's like, what... does this seem appropriate? And Ivanova comes out with a pair of boxing gloves for her and a pair of boxing gloves for you. And she's like, all right, twinkle toes. But again, it's unclear if this is even going to happen. And then you hear... And there's the general, and he's like, go for it! Go for it! You get him, Alberg!
I'm going to start playing some intense music on the violin.
Yeah, whenever she hands me the gloves and says twinkle toes, I'm like, hey, at least I'll be still on my toes.
Oh, and she's like, yeah, I'll be on my toes.
Gotta get a new line. Really gotta stop doing that.
I need you to tempt fate for me, my friend.
Yay!
All right.
That's
What
guts.
is that gonna be?
That is guts.
Guts?
But
Sweet.
you get a +1 for the violin playing.
Sweet. Trying to see if I got anything else.
Does she get any more pluses because she already put this gal down once? I'm just
Fair
throwing it out.
enough.
No.
Oh, that was good
I
though.
tried.
Thank you.
I tried.
Thank you. That was a good try. I'm trying to see if I have anything else that makes sense.
You've got Anastasia and you've got Lena for your regard.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just get that +1, which is
Yep.
still handy dandy. Let's see. If I fail this,
It'll be great.
the RNG's against me.
You won't.
7.
Hey!
All right.
Okay. So
Partial.
I want you to tell me how this match goes.
Yes.
You-
Ready. I'm here
you-
for this.
You beat her, but I want you to tell me how it goes.
Okay. It starts off with obviously the music starts playing and the
Yeah.
two of us kind of like stand there
Yeah.
a little standoffish. We kind of like walk back and forth.
Mhm.
And I think she bull rushes in and I'm like ready for it. So I get a punch in
Mhm.
and then I get kind of a little confident with that and a little overconfident to the point where she gets in a couple good blows.
Mhm.
But in the end, I'm able to like jab her one where she like kind of falls over and she wants to get back up, but I'm just like, don't do it.
And I want you to tell me about the coin in your pocket. How that's what's going on through your mind right there at that moment.
I think the coin was more when I was doing the dance,
Mhm.
but I think that I'm kind of exhausted from
Yeah.
doing both things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And also there's a whole bunch of people around me. I'm anxious.
Yeah.
It's definitely not my forte being on stage. And I think the coin itself is like, I think earlier when she was doing that,
Yeah.
she felt like she did her part
Yeah.
in making her promise to Polia that she would make it to the dance.
Mm-hmm. And as you take Ivanova down, Ivanova, you know when somebody has had their clocked cleaned? You clean their clock. And so she's down and like you can tell she wants to get back up, but she has no balance and her equilibrium is totally off. And she's like, yeah, take that. and when she finally does get up and she's walking, she walks.
Irina like takes off her one glove and actually like helps her up and is like, not bad that time. Wasn't as easy. Maybe you learned something last time.
I learned that Swedes hit hard.
Don't forget it.
I don't like you still.
You don't have to like me. As long as you just cover my butt on the battlefield, that's all that matters.
Yeah, you too. Wait.
Yeah.
You know. I mean, I'm not copying what you said this time. I just...
Irina smiles and just kind of like is pretty satisfied.
And then it's the dance. And they've got some music on the Victrola going so that people sort of do that awkward, clumsy dancing with each other.
Is this like what time of the year is this?
This is summer. It's hot.
This summer.
Oh,
And it's humid. So it's kind of gross.
I'm so sad that I'm in my dress uniform now.
And you're there, and then the general hits the microphone and says, "Everyone, as general, there are few things that I get to do more that I enjoy besides medals and promotions. And I have been told that there is tonight someone who deserves promotion. Junior Lieutenant Titania Petrova, please, front and center."
Well,
And Anastasia's like,
Irina's being loud. You could probably hear her clapping and also wooing.
Shiny goes up.
"The Red Army, the army of the proletariat, of the peoples and the worker, Mother Russia thanks you for your leadership, including bringing a new," and he gets some nice ones. Yes, "bringing a new section together. You are hereby no longer Junior Lieutenant Tatiana Petrova." And he takes your shoulder boards off.
Snap.
And he brings out 2 new shoulder boards with the new rank. And he says, "You are now Lieutenant Tatiana Petrova." And he affixes the new shoulder boards, and then he like smashes the shoulder boards.
Tanya will kind of like stagger under the general smash a little bit. Thank you, sir.
"Congratulations. You make Mother Russia proud." And he shakes your hand, and then out of nowhere, there's Pravda, and they're taking photographs of you, and there's like smiling photographs, some nice propaganda shots.
And Irina just belligerently yelling and shouting.
Yeah, no, she'll just smile and stand there.
And as you stand there, there's like a bit of a line. People come by and they shake your hand and they congratulate you as people start to dance.
I would like to congratulate you personally. I'll come up and shake your hand. Congratulations, Lieutenant.
Thank you. Your playing was beautiful.
Thank you. And I walk off to the side because no one probably wants to dance with me. I have a huge swollen face, so.
Except, Anasova,
Oh no.
out of nowhere, you're almost knocked over as Anastasia just jumps and gives you this massive bear hug.
Oh.
And she kind of starts jumping up and down with you. She's like, "That was so amazing. Thank you so much."
Yes, you were incredible.
You were incredible.
No, you were incredible.
No, you were.
Okay.
Oh,
I'll just hug her.
I'm going to make you a friendship bracelet so nobody can say anything bad about you.
I would appreciate that.
Okay, I'm going to go find someone to dance with. Who should I dance with?
The most handsome man here, of course.
Okay, I'm going to ask someone to dance. And she sort of like bounces off into the crowd of people.
As soon as I see Titania, I kind of like give her like a good nudge. And I'm like, "Congrats."
Thanks. None of this would be possible without you gals, so hey man, I appreciate all of you. And who knows, maybe that means I'll be able to at least make sure we get more supplies that we need.
Fancy schmancy lieutenant here. Well, and I kind of like toss over like a glass to her that's got some vodka in it.
Hey, catch.
Do you all dance?
Irina tries real hard not to dance.
I'll make a decent effort.
And you can certainly find someone to dance with because you have just got promoted by the general, so people are certainly willing. And generally speaking, people will ask everyone here to dance. It is the 40s. You ask people to dance. That is protocol.
I'm guessing for a little bit, Irina and Anasova are sitting at a table together alone because I don't want to dance, and she doesn't think anyone wants to dance with her. And I'm like, you played the violin pretty good. What Anastasia said is right.
Thanks. And your boxing was great.
Yeah, I'd rather be punching things than whatever this is.
Yeah, I'd rather be making a difference than whatever this is.
we have a bonding moment, I think.
Is that a reach out?
Clink,
Do I get to add to the team pool now?
You already did once.
Oh, okay. You can only do it once.
Yeah.
All right.
So
You'll
sad.
get exhausted otherwise.
All right. Fair. Are you gonna at least try to dance?
I think I already did that.
Yeah, you did, and it was great. Cheers.
Yeah, she cheers back.
Veronica,
Her
do you
hand's
dance?
like still in her pocket. Like she has her hand in her pocket, like flipping the coin.
Yeah. Veronica, do you dance?
I think once or twice probably, but generally she finds other ways to keep busy, such as running interference, making sure that nobody comes and bothers her new navigator, that sort of a thing.
But like, I don't notice that you're doing it. It's like happening behind the scenes, and you're just like, oh, my heart.
But it's not just that. It's like making sure that the right people have their drinks full and the right people don't. And like
Anastasia does not
basically
need.
she is playing hostess, even though it's not her party, directing the appropriate people to, like, he needs a refill, cut them off. Like,
seems like that would come very naturally for her.
And I will say, if this were a video game, I would say Olga Barsukova will remember that. She she notices your expertise being hostess and making sure that nobody does anything embarrassing. But
generally, she is overall trying to more or less be unnoticed.
Yeah.
Also, if you do make me dance with someone, I will step on their toes.
She knows better. She might even run a little bit of interference for you to make sure that you only have to dance maybe once or twice.
I imagine you dance once, maybe twice, and you're dancing with, like, I imagine the person you're dancing with is a navigator in the 218th who is this really sort of skinny dude who...
Oh my gosh, I'm taller than him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you are.
Like boob level height.
Yes.
I love it.
You're
he was also very impressed by your punching, though.
And he's like, he's like, your punching was really amazing.
Thanks.
And he's
I'm
super
better at
awkward.
that than whatever this is. Sorry. As I step on his foot.
And he just like smiles and clenches his teeth not to embarrass you, right? So he's trying to be polite about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend wearing these shoes.
Yeah. Can I write to you?
Write what to me?
Letters?
About what?
Just the war?
Sure, I guess.
Thanks.
She's like oblivious.
And he like walks back. He's like, I have got a girlfriend. And with no sleep, you all have to go on a night mission.
Yay. All right.
You all have to go on a night mission.
All right.
So,
come on, Lieutenant.
What mission are you going on?
I think we're going to go on F. So, ladies. Actually, wait, no, we can't because that's a daylight one. We're doing
No,
C.
you can do it.
We can?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to go on F because there's at least one less roll that could go sideways.
I mean, does that mean we can get some sleep first?
No, because it's a long dance.
It's
I
just,
tried.
it was
Miserable, long time.
So
In
ladies,
Russia, sleep gets you.
That's right. I need to get a name for your boyfriend, Irina.
Oh, chat, give us a good name.
I need a good Russian
you
name.
are never going to hear the end of that, just so you know. All right, so ladies, we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually doing a supply drop during the day. So unlike what we've experienced thus far, we will actually be able to see where we are going. So navigators, that should be at least a little bit of help. We're going to the, was it Malaya Zemla, beachhead near a place that we are going. And it is tenuously held by the Soviet Naval Infantry. So we will have some backup there, but not much. We are dropping the supplies. And since it is going to be a day flight, I'm also saying this to the players, not going to have to do a wayfinding roll. But once we get there, we are going to, because we're going to be able to see where we're going, thus our enemies will be able to see us as well. So we are going to have to try and avoid enemy fire.
Lieutenant, is there a reason we're going during the day?
We need to make sure that the supplies get to where they're going. And at night, the powers that be felt it was too much of a risk that the supplies get lost. And our depot down there is extremely low. They're not going to make it too much longer. And plus, they didn't want a chance for any of the Nazis to get hold of any of our supplies. So that being said, we are going to have, all right, let me look this over.
You're going to need somebody on Navigator for all of those planes.
Yeah. So, let me find my...
By the way, Irina, chat has provided your boyfriend's name is Andrei Kasanov.
Oh, gosh, of course. Gotta have that Casanova.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's not really very Casanova-like, but it's fine.
Irina's not very ladylike either, so.
So it's fine.
Also, she doesn't know what his intentions are.
I see this being a perfect match. So first off, does anyone have any questions about our mission? Awesome. So, Veronica, I'm going to have you flying the 84 with Anasova as your navigator. Let's see. I will be who? All right. Since we don't need a wayfinding roll.
Just note, it's the navigators who do enemy fire.
Okay, duly noted. All right, so Irina, I will have you flying the 42 with Anastasia. There's gonna be a reason for that. And then I will be flying the I will be navigating the 13th. And what is, Irina, what's your nemesis's name?
Ludmila Ivanova.
Ivanova?
Yeah.
Ivanova, you are going to be flying the 13th. Does anyone have any questions about all?
Oh, Lieutenant?
Yes.
No, I said no. Lieutenant.
Oh,
sorry.
Then good. I'm glad we were all on the same page. Yeah, and so the lead pilot is going to be Irina, and lead navigator is going to be me. And Veronica, you will be our wing woman. Does anyone have any questions?
And also Anasova can also wing woman.
All right, you will both be the wing women. You'll be the wing women together as a unit in the 84. All right.
And so as the sun rises and you've had no sleep whatsoever because you've had inspections and dances and boxing matches and a little bit of drama and just a beautiful moment of dance, you all get into these planes and there's Mel and the mechanic armorers. They've prepped all the planes for you. And Mel sort of pulls aside Titania, and she says, have you seen Nick? I haven't seen her.
Yeah, they had her go to do some interviews.
Oh.
She got a medal. She'll be back soon, though.
And then she looks at your uniform. Hey, congratulations on the promotion.
Oh, thank you. It's due to all of the wonderful women who are helping us fly.
Well, I feel pretty good about what we're dropping, and you see them with these huge canisters rather than bombs, and these canisters are full of food and all sorts of other supplies, and they attach each of these canisters to the planes. And as the sun rises, you may take
Veronica does not kiss these.
Death to the Red Army.
Food. That's all right.
And off you go. And it's nice, right? Because you're flying in the daytime and you can see everything around you. And you need to get this beachhead and get these supplies to the Navy because the fighting is fierce and they're running low on supplies and they don't have the things they need. And you can go, you know exactly where to head. It's beautiful. You can see it. And as you arrive, you can see the carnage on the other side. You can see destroyed and bombed out and shelled roads and destroyed vehicles and sometimes bodies. And you can see the Soviet Marines on this beachhead holding it tenaciously, and you know that they need supplies. And as you're moving towards them, suddenly everywhere you're getting anti-aircraft flak. And of course, your planes, being made of canvas and wood, are very flammable. And the last thing you want is to go up in smoke and flames without parachutes as you are. So I need each plane's navigator to make a roll. And Anasova, I would like you to roll first. I need you to make a luck roll.
That's a 12 success.
Nice.
Okay.
Today is a day for us.
Oh my goodness. So
careful saying that. We haven't all rolled yet.
I know, but it's weird not seeing all that red.
Right?
It's already a success today, even if we fail the rest of this.
Anasova, I want, people don't trust you now, You've been flying. You are very experienced. You are a very experienced navigator. You have great skills. Yes, you have family connections, but that's not why you're here. You're here because you are an excellent pilot and an excellent navigator. And when all of this enemy fire happens, I want you to tell me how you are able to just direct Veronica out of the way of all of this enemy fire.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So it's like a different person is in the cockpit with you. That timid person that was maybe upset and distant is no longer there. She's just completely 100% focused and able to call things out that surprise you. It just seems kind of like almost, how on earth did you see that or know that that was coming? But it's calm. It's not yelling at you. It's more just like, here, go. You can do this, like off to the left and off to the right. And, coming up in a few seconds is going to be this and that you're going to have to take care of. And okay, here we go. And yes, they've veered off. And it's just, this is her chance to prove herself. And
it's beautiful. Like it's this amazing sort of connection with the plane and an amazing awareness of everything around you. Titania, in Lucky 13, I need you to endure that enemy fire. I need a luck roll.
Okay. Do I? Let's see. I'm in 13.
So you get a +1?
You get a +1.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. That's all I get, huh?
Yeah. Oh! I will note.
We do have a lot of pool.
3, I think, right?
You do have 3 in the mission pool.
How critical is this roll?
If you take that mission pool, you can go from a failure to a partial success.
Yeah, but what I mean is, what happens if this roll isn't made?
We don't know.
Oh,
I get enemy fire.
Well, if you get the 7 to 9, so you make it a partial success, then that plane will take 2 negative consequences. You and your fellow airwomen are marked. Split 5 harm because there are casualties on board.
Oh.
The plane is damaged, or another plane in this section goes down, and I get to pick which one.
Okay.
I will use one of my my holds.
Mm-hmm.
Make that a success.
I want you to tell me how that happens, because they're flying in. Their plane is flying in, and you have just had this amazing experience with Anasova, right? Like beautiful sort of flying. That sort of like this little plane is just dancing in between the fire and the shrapnel, the flak. And you can see out of the corner of your eye, Lucky 13 heading into just a storm of anti-aircraft flak. And it looks bad. What do you do to get them out of this moment?
I think she calls on, she sees how well her navigator is doing, and she says, Anasova, we have to help 13. And she just starts heading that way and relies on her navigator to tell her what to avoid, and like manages to distract the guns that are around them enough that 13 is able to get through.
Buzzing those guns, right? Drawing the fire towards yourself. You're able to and maybe Titania, you had a bit of a vision, right? Perhaps a little bit of premonition of like, ooh, we're gonna die. But then out of nowhere, Veronica and Anasova just swoop in and distract those guns, and you are able to slip right out in this sort of amazing, almost supernatural way. And Irina, could you do me a favor? Could you just roll luck for me, if you don't mind?
My luck?
Yes, please. I just want to see how that goes.
I have a -1 to this. All right. Dale.
Mm-hmm.
That's the mission pool for you.
Do you want to use it? Sure, yeah.
All right.
We use 1.
I mean, I have 1 more hold.
It's up to you.
Use the mission pool this time.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Anastasia is trying really hard to maneuver you through this flak, and she's able to direct you out through most of it, but it's a lot of fire. If you do not mind,
taking a lot of fire. You need to get us out of here.
Pick 2 negative consequences. Okay. You and your fellow airwoman are marked. Split 5 harm between you two. Your plane is damaged, and another plane in your section goes down.
I think our plane is damaged.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do the mark.
That will kill her.
Harm.
Oh my God.
Kill her too.
Well, you can just split it, because it's 5. You can split it however you want.
It's 5, though. How much does she have?
You could take all of it, and I can take care of that for you.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I take the harm.
Okay, so let's talk.
I take 3, and she takes 2, I guess.
No, take it all.
Take it all.
Oh, I can take it all?
I can remove by using Dark Bargain. I can elect to be marked in order to remove all harm from myself or another.
Okay, yeah, we basically get hit, so our plane is damaged. I get hit in the process.
But
I try to duck down.
And I want to know, Veronica, there is flak hitting this plane, and the plane gets hit, and it's like you can sort of see the trajectory of what's going to be a bunch of flak.
I just see it coming towards me.
And what happens, Veronica?
God.
I think she swings the plane over, and she puts her plane in between, puts her cockpit in between. And in the last thing that I did, I took 1 harm for it, and that's where she gets the 1 harm. Only one of the bullets ends up hitting her, but she gets a graze on her arm.
Mm-hmm. And now you're like at 2 harm now, if I believe.
That'll
Mm-hmm.
that'll actually put me at 3.
Ooh, nice. Okay, that's 3 harm.
Because you said that we had 1.
You did.
And then we got another one for staying up all night.
Yeah, that's right. So
And now,
yeah. So you are bleeding, my friend.
Mhm.
But Irina, you would be dead if this plane had not just zoomed in up and taken all of that fire. Irina, I need you to make the attack roll to drop these supplies on the beachhead so the Marines will survive. Without you, they won't make it.
No pressure.
Roll guts.
You get a plus, right?
I get a +1 because I'm with
Yep.
Anastasia.
Yep.
All right. 10.
Hey.
Nice.
That's a fully successful roll. So pick 1 negative consequence because it's Night Witches.
Of course.
The
Okay.
damage is not significant and it's your fault. You trigger more enemy fire. A plane in your section is damaged. I get to pick which one. You and your fellow airwoman are marked.
but a mark will kill her.
But
I won't do the mark.
But Vedomaya can take those marks if they wanted to.
Oh. Which is PB and myself.
Yeah.
And Asova and Veronica.
Yeah. So if she picked marks, you all could take them. Or your plane could be damaged.
That's up to you. I don't want to put you guys in that situation if you don't want it.
I mean, I can take that mark.
I can also take one.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a good idea because they're basically tanking for me while I get the damage down.
Yeah.
It also just makes sense that
It fits with the
the way
story.
it came in. Yeah.
Yeah. So you fly in and tell me about how you drop these supplies to these scores of Marines on the beachhead waiting, needing these supplies.
I think for the first, the moment prior, Irina thought she was dead because she just saw this flak coming straight for her and not enough time to divert. And she just sees the two of them kind of come in and tank it. She doesn't even look to see what happens to them. She just glides down and is like, drop them to Anastasia.
And Anastasia, she goes, and all of these canisters, all of you drop your canisters of supplies, and they're medical supplies. There's food, there's water, there's also ammunition. All these things drop, and you can hear. Normally when you drop bombs, all you hear are explosions and shrapnel. But what you hear, besides all of this gunfire, you hear cheers and shouts as the Marines just... yeah, and they wave their arms at you as you fly past them, and they're just so jubilant, overjoyed, and they sort of yell and they sing at you as you fly back out of this sort of madness.
Clipper's putting along, and Irina's just trying to hold it together. Doesn't really have time to look or hear or anything. She's just trying to. She just thought she was going to die 2 seconds ago. So,
and as it's a beautiful day as you make it back to base, but one of you has a damaged plane. Is that not correct?
Yep. Clipper's damaged again.
I need you.
I was going to say, can we have taken that damage instead?
You can. Well, actually, there are 2 of you. That is correct. There are two of you who are wing women. And you did one, and you could take the other one if you wanted to, PB.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So our plane will be damaged?
Your plane will be damaged instead. Because you can just take those consequences if you like instead.
Right.
Okay.
So we both took a mark, right? And
Yes.
then also our plane is damaged. Okay,
Yes.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Because I can land a damaged plane with no problem.
Tell me about how that happens.
Yeah.
Your plane is you have been. So let's just talk about your plane for a moment. You have been weaving in and out of this section, zooming in here, coming in, buzzing the enemy fire, putting yourself in between the other planes. I mean, it is this sort of amazing amount of like the piloting and the navigation that you two together have demonstrated is something, it is just like the night before when Anastasia was dancing.
Sort of supernatural. I don't know. It's weird.
Perhaps supernatural.
I think right before landing through the, the speaking tube, she asks Anasova, "Why do you fly?"
I belong up here.
That's a very good answer. And then as she just kind of takes the plane down, and even though it's, it's fighting her the whole way, she just kind of tries to work with it and then pulls it in for hopefully a nice smooth landing.
That is your personal move, is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes me advance.
Which makes you advance. Other people may not have landed that plane, but you landed it. I'm going to ask you a question. I need you to do something for me. I need you to name 84.
Death's Kiss.
Ooh.
84 is now named Death's Kiss. And you land. And the mechanics are there, and they cheer for you, and people help you out of the plane.
And then she kind of collapses back against it from blood loss.
And they're like,
oh, I absolutely come up to you and I try to stop that from happening.
It's fine. This one's not going to kill me, but I could use a medic.
Medic!
And Veronica's taken off to the medical tent. And
I go with you.
And she goes with you.
Yeah.
And Ivanova punches Irina in the shoulder. Says, "Good job, Swede." You're muted.
Yeah, and I was talking to someone else. Yeah, you didn't too bad yourself.
Yeah. What you said. But I'm not copying you. And she sort of heads off. And you are all exhausted. You have not slept in well over 24 hours. And most of you are tired and messed up. And you all advance. All of you.
Hey.
Does it mean I advance twice?
Yes, you do.
Me too?
Yep. You also advance. Everybody advances for that one.
I had a question, actually.
Yes.
I took with the mark, I did suffer the death of a friend or a lover because that's what happened earlier
Yes.
that day. Is that okay?
That is perfect.
Making sure I did that.
Yeah, you just let Trooper know, and then
Okay.
Trooper makes terrible magic.
Do
Okay.
I do.
The dark sorcery of the game master.
Guys, gals, and binary pals, that is the end of our episode, Talents. I want to thank you all for being here. It was amazing. I want to thank Anna Geeks for being our guest for these last 3 sessions, and also PB for being our wonderful guest this session.
Thank
PB
you
will
for
be
having me.
Awesome characters. Love both of them.
so wonderful. PB will be back in March, so look forward to seeing her again. And if anybody gets sick, Anna's jumping back in again because her character is not dead.
'Cause I'm not dead yet.
Yeah.
Not dead yet. I would like us all, as we wrap up for this session, have everybody introduce themselves as a sign off. Let's start with Anna Geeks. Could you give us who you are?
I am Anna Geeks. I am the CEO here at Geek Space TV. We are a nonprofit online broadcasting studio. And I do my own streams as well. I'm a full-time broadcaster on my own channel, full-time, and where I bake and play games and make really bad jokes.
They're great
Puns.
jokes.
They're amazing. Maggie, how about you?
Hey, I'm Margaret Crone. You can find me at Margaret Crone in all of the places. I do some tabletop RPG stuff as well. So if you want to check out more characters that aren't mean to other people, come check it out. I'm not a mean person, I promise. I actually have to go, but of course, it's been lovely playing with you, Anna and PB. and I'm excited to play with you guys again, hopefully in the future.
Yeah.
And of course, Trooper and Fox. So thank you guys so much. And to all of you guys watching, I hope you're enjoying this. I think it's really cool that we get to do something really neat and kind of like show off the badass women that are out there.
Yeah, this has been wonderful. And it was wonderful to play with you.
Thank you, Maggie. You can go dark if you need to. And PB, will you give us your exit?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm PB, Pumpkinberry. You can find me at Twitter and Twitch at Pumpkinberry. I love a good story, which is why I'm here, but also what I do on my channel, I play variety narrative games, anything with a good story, and lots of other tabletop stuff. So you can check that out too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rocket Fox.
All right. Hey, everyone. I am Rocket Fox, and I do many things. Illustration, storytelling, speaking, gaming, cosplay, all sorts of fun stuff. You can find me anywhere under Rocket Fox. I am on Twitter. We were discussing. I don't really know how to use it well, but I'm there. And I also am the president of the board for Superheroines ETC, which is a nonprofit with the mission to empower women and those who identify as women to embrace their inner nerd. And you can find that at superheroines, etc., etc.org.
And I am Trooper SJP, and I'm your game moderator, and it has been such a joy. You can find me on my channel, Trooper SJP, where I play, much like PB, story-heavy narrative kind of video games, and then sometimes I'm distracted by chat, and we just talk about everything that is not the video game for some very long time period. It does happen sometimes, but it is great. And this has been the Geek Space, a nonprofit out of Seattle that is focused on representation and diversity in geek and gaming spaces. And if you like what we do, please give us a follow. You can join us on Discord. If you'd like, you can give tips and bits. For example, we had a tip come in for the second half of the show. Actually, we had three come in. One from Vera Pavlova fan who gives us a poem. Soaring, a night which is right, ruling their realm in darkness and silence. Conflict brews below, fermenting. Sweden cleans a clock. Now go, fly, bomb Nazis. And then from Coruscant, my Call of Cthulhu GM, $5. So good, she says. And then the last one, $5.55 from Death's Kiss.
Oh.
Did you see her walk away from that plane? Who was that? It was the witch. That plane is a wreck. She's calling it Death's Kiss. The plane? Yeah. Shudders and hushed silence. I'm just imagining it like a 1980s like perfume commercial where like she's walking by in black and white, but with her lips still red, and people are like, "Oh, did you see?" So thank you, everyone. That has been wonderful. Please come back to Geek Space TV on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific for Inklings with Sour Fruit Junkie, which is this amazing art stream. And then come back on Wednesday, 5 p.m. Pacific for Wind Down, where Anna Geeks will talk about the state of the studio, including tell you all the secrets, or some of the secrets, about the new upcoming show, The Expanse, Flip and Burn, GM'd by Scotland, Level 2-3, which is going to be amazing. And then Worlds Beyond, GM'd by Random Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Thank you so much. You all have been wonderful. Please go and fly right, everyone.